Let me take you back to January 16th of 2006. For most, it was just another Monday. The mundane rhythm of a mid-January day. Coffee brewed, cars started, and so does the workday. The calendar had turned, and the world was just moving forward. But for the co-workers, family, and friends of James Michael Mills of Uniontown, Kentucky, well, the world had just stopped. See, the night before in the early morning hours, well, it's the last time anyone would see the man before he vanished along with his van. You know, and you would think a person just doesn't vanish, just doesn't disappear. Yet James Michael Mills did, with no trace, no evidence, no clues, no leads. And for nearly 2 decades, his case sat cold, a file growing thicker but no clearer, and the air of the unsolved clung to the small details. A missing man, a missing van with no leads, no information. Well, it just left a family with an agonizing void. The winding dark waters of the Ohio River, where they flowed on, hiding a secret that tormented a family, a community for years. Well, that was until the script it flipped. Not by a police breakthrough or a sudden confession, but by the determined search of one man. See, just a few days, we're in September now, but just a few days ago in September, volunteer searcher and diver Trey Lombardo launched his boat there at the dikes in Uniontown, Kentucky, into the Ohio River. Started to run his sonar. Now, he wasn't just searching for treasures or debris. No, he was searching for answers that had eluded law enforcement since 2006. In the opaque water, a flicker on the sonar, and Trey knew right away what he had found. Though he still questioned the fact that, did I really find this? It became a terrifying reality that Trey Lombardo may have just found what investigators couldn't. A sunken 1994 Plymouth Voyager van, the white van with the blue door, buried in the silt, a ghost from the past. Had it been sitting there all of these 19 years? When they got the okay to pull the van from the depths, authorities quickly started linking and putting together the discovery to the missing person case of James Michael Mills. It was a volunteer's dedication, an underwater shadow, and the undeniable tragic truth of the final resting place. Trey Lombardo may have single-handedly brought nearly 2 decades of silence for the Mills family to a shuddering halt. And I was honored to have him in the studio and sit down for an exclusive interview of how everything led up to this discovery. We talk with Trey. We talk about how he grew up and spent a lot of his childhood in Uniontown, and then what got him into the fire service and rescue diving and what he does. He does it on his own. He doesn't get paid to do this. I'd actually worked with Trey on a case just a few years ago. We kind of got out of contact, but when I seen this, I reached out to him and had several people asked to actually reach out to him. So I did. And I was blessed and honored to have him come into the studio. For nearly 3 hours, we discuss Trey's life and the events leading up to why he is here. My opinion, I've said it in the interview, Trey's a hero for that family. Trey did what no one else could do. Deep in the depths of the muddy Ohio River, one man quite possibly could have brought some closure, not only for James Michael Mills, but for his friends and family. So sit back, relax, and viewer discretion is advised due to just some of the things we talk about. Enjoy this episode of Front Porch America.
Respect, no judgment, open up, say what you want to say, be real, be kind, free speech, make this a better day. You got a voice, a story to be heard, share it on the front porch
So, welcome to Front Porch America. And this episode is probably one of the biggest episodes I get to do, and I'm honored to have this young man here with me today. And it goes back to a cold case in 2006. And before we get into that, Trey, I've got a little gift for you. And I'm sorry I don't have a bag.
Oh, you're good.
But there's some stuff from the Fat Boy app, Ironstein Coffee. Don't know if you drink coffee or not. Maybe your parents do.
I definitely drink coffee.
That's good. And it's some really good coffee that's local here in Morganfield.
That is local?
It is local.
Cool.
Ironstein Coffee there in Morganfield. You can go to Jen's General Store and get that. They roast the beans right there in town. You got you some shirts and some goodies from the Fat Boy app and a shirt from me. And you're more welcome to set that in the floor so you don't have to hold it the entire time, however you want to do it. But I am sitting here with what I feel like the family of this gentleman would probably consider you a hero, to an extent. And this is Trey Lombardo. And Trey is actually a native of Uniontown. So let's go ahead and get into that. We'll get into your, growing up in Uniontown, moving off and all this stuff, and then where you're at today and why you're here with me.
Okay. So I'm Trey Lombardo. I actually run a YouTube channel called Nark Divers, but grew up in Uniontown, probably kindergarten through third grade. And there was a era in third grade where we went back to Illinois, came back to Kentucky, went back to Illinois, came back to Kentucky. And when we first came to Kentucky, it was like all in. We wanted to be there, but then going back to Illinois, me and my brother were not having it, and we didn't want to be in Illinois. Like something about Uniontown, the school, we went to school right there in town, inside the levee. But I actually grew up on State Route 360, so it's a Morganfield address. The school bus used to get there at like 6:50 in the morning, and we were one of the last stops.
Yeah.
So there was kids getting picked up at like 5:50 in the morning.
Oh wow, yeah. So I remember those days.
We had a pond, 10 acres, horses, creek bed. We had a neighbor. It was Jamie. I'm not gonna mention last names. Sure. I don't know who wants out there, but between growing up in the creek bed, we used to swim in our pond that was in the technically the front yard, and then growing up in Uniontown, we had like a pontoon boat.
Okay.
And then we would go outside the lock and dam, and then
So let's explain that for people that's not, that people may watch this episode that's not from that area or not familiar. Uniontown is nestled right there on the banks of the Ohio River, right? So you had access to all this as a kid. You had, you lived a dream growing up like I did.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Especially being boys, we were out of trouble because we'd literally go play in the creek beds for hours, or ponds. We had go-karts, four-wheelers, motorcycles, horses, and all of our summers and every day after school, we had a bell. So when that bell rang, it was time to come in.
Oh, wow.
But you could, our house sit on top of the hill. But being the Ohio River, it goes right through there, being dam locked.
Yeah.
We used to like anchor and then swim in the river, like right in the middle. And the current, I'm sure there was current, but from getting off the boat, jumping in the water, we had life jackets. You would never really known that was a river.
Right.
It was almost like a giant lake.
That's funny because growing up as a kid, I grew up actually in Crittenden County down in a little community called Weston. My grandparents and my great grandparents had a lot of land down there that we all camped on. So we done the exact same thing. Yeah, I mean, they had caves and little rock holes, I guess, if you will, maybe caves. We'd explore them. There was an old schoolhouse down there, or an old house that we would always play in, and we would go out in the boat, and Dad and then would drop anchor, and we would swim in the Ohio River. I mean, you couldn't catch me doing it today.
Oh, today,
so
totally different.
And we'll get into that a little later on how that affects your diving and stuff like that, and how much that's changed.
So it's changed big time.
But anyway, so you're growing up there.
It was a beautiful community, and everybody, even if you didn't know somebody's name, we knew of each other.
Right.
But just a beautiful area, and literally fell in love with everything and everybody. And like part of me would love to come back, but it's kind of hard to do that whenever jobs and stuff like that.
Once you get established, it is tough. It's tough to pack everything up and move. Maybe one day you'll be able to do that.
Oh, if I was ever able to have a home base that didn't matter where I was at, it would definitely be here.
Nice.
Just like everybody was always welcoming, and our teachers I don't know what you want to put on here or not, but different era, different time. So our teacher used to leave us in the classroom to where she could watch us go around to the side, and then she would smoke her cigarettes. And then
we had teachers do that too. So.
like nowadays, people would lose their minds.
Right.
But she'd be like, I can see you little rascals in there.
Yeah.
And then come back inside. Like that was just our upbringing.
You know, and that's funny because back when I went to school, you know, it was kind of like the same thing. It was like the kids for some reason were more mature, for lack of better words, maybe even. They would leave us in the classroom. Now we would do the normal mischievous spitballs and stuff like that, but you know, we don't do the stuff that goes on today, you know, and it's really crazy on how much all that's changed. So you grow up, you move over to Illinois.
Yep.
How does that affect you? How does that go?
Good and bad.
Becoming an Illinoisan. Now I have a bunch of Illinois, you know, friends that live in Illinois, and I always call them Illinoisans. But
so Illinois, like, it's a similar environment, but you don't have that hometown love and compassion, and it's more or less the opposite. I hate to say it like that, but everybody knows you, but it's more or less everybody's trying to be in other people's business. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So
I get you.
Like in Kentucky, everybody knew of each other, but if you needed help, it didn't matter. They'd be like, "Hey, can I get your help?" And they would help you because they know you, and they're not trying to, I don't want to say put you down, but it's just like having a giant family. Over here.
That's nice.
Versus
that's good to know.
Yeah, in Illinois, it's
not the same.
Not the same. It just unfortunately not.
You know, and it's weird when you travel. You can feel, I guess, people's aura, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the demeanor of people. It changes where you go.
I call it your soul.
Yeah.
I learned that recently. It's like people either got a good soul or an ugly soul.
Okay.
And over here, people got a beautiful soul. Most people.
Yeah.
And then in Illinois, it's not the like Alice, my Illinois people.
Right. No, I know some really good people that live in Illinois, but I completely understand. It's more, and maybe it's just a Southern thing.
I think it's a Southern thing.
I think it is. I think it is.
Being welcomed and open for no one trying to gain anything.
I got you. So you go to school in Illinois.
Yep.
Graduated over here. Start working over here. You got a family, create a family.
Yep.
When do you get into what you're doing now? Let's move into that.
So coming back to Illinois was very rocky. I ended up moving in with my aunt and uncle because my mom could no longer make sure that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So my aunt and uncle were in their 80s. So basically like having my mom and dad, they turned into my mom and dad, but they were always there. So I couldn't get away with anything. I couldn't get away with mischievous things.
I got you.
Which ended up being good. So my uncle started taking me to fire calls at a very young age. And then I would go to, after school on Tuesdays, go to meetings at 7:00 at his fire department. And then I remember I was like, "Hey, what do I got to do to, be a junior firefighter?" And he was like, "Well, you're basically doing it." So the rule was I would go with him and I would just stay in the car. Don't touch nothing. Don't get out of the car.
Yeah.
He's going to park it. And if, something happens, somebody move the vehicle. So I started off learning and watching. And to me, that wasn't good enough. Went to a neighboring town. It was they had like mod A, B, and C classes. So I started off doing my mod A, B, and C. And then while I was over there, got on as a junior. And this was in Buckner, Illinois. And then my hometown, where my uncle was the fire chief, is Christopher, Illinois.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at this point. And
now, how far is that from Uniontown?
Probably a solid hour.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just say an hour. It's about an hour.
Fair enough.
But far enough to where, I don't have a license at this point, but can't really come back. And this is before social media, so I lost like touch with all my friends and teachers. And like the first week that I came back to Illinois, the school actually sent like I won't say a care package, but like picture of me and my friends, notes from friends.
Oh wow!
And it made it that much harder.
Yeah.
To want to stay in Illinois. I'm like that was my family and friends, and then now I'm over here. But it was like a culture shock coming to Illinois.
I got you.
But start off as a junior firefighter, did all that for a long time. Turned 18, and right before I turned 18, there was one of my good friends, Mark, who was a firefighter paramedic. We're standing in the bay, call goes out, and I was like, "We have a dive team," and he was like, "I believe we do." So it was a dive call went out and went over the sheriff's office frequency, and I was like, "What frequency are they operating on?" And he was like, "Probably the Corps of Engineers." So like we hopped on the Corps of Engineers channel, which they weren't operating on that, but the Corps, they were using their boat.
Right.
So we went out to the call, and as we're like walking up, there's this boat that's halfway underwater. There's 2 divers walking up. And I was like, dude, that looks like awesome. And at this point, I love the fire service.
Yeah.
So we meet a dude named Steve, which was like the dive leader of the dive team.
Okay.
We asked what they needed and like basically to get on their team. And they're like, well, we always need shore support. And I'm like, I like shore support. Like, that's our foot in the door.
Right.
So
right.
we got an application. So before we turned in our apps, we went and got dive certified open water with a dude named Bill Blankenship, who's no longer here. He was 70-something years old. He used to dive.
I was going to say, why does that name sound familiar?
He's no longer here, but he used to have a dive shop in Marion, Illinois.
Okay.
And Bill Blankenship, and he used to dive, I don't know where we're at, but Japanese Zero airplanes in 220 foot of water.
Oh, wow.
And on a single 80, one single 80 on regular air.
So explain that. Single 80 regular air.
So nowadays, whether you're an instructor, unless you got like, I'm going to butcher this, but Trimix certified
Right.
or a very advanced dive training, open water, even deep diver, you're not supposed to go over 130 foot deep.
Okay.
It puts you, I don't remember the exact terminology, but so oxygen and air becomes toxic at certain depths. I don't remember what those depths are, but so air can become toxic. So nitrogen narcosis, like being narked, can happen any past 100 foot. So it's kind of like it might be different for you than it is me, and vice versa. A lot of people will reference it to like the martini effect.
Okay.
So to some people, it might just be like having a drink. Other people might see cartoons.
I got you.
So
hallucinations going on.
and bad things can happen, and
Right.
your judgment and like math is not normally the greatest.
I feel like if that was me, I would probably like be stuck down there because I'd probably rip everything off, thinking like Jaws was coming to get me or something. You know,
like a couple things can happen. It's like some people get down there and just, I can stay down here forever.
Yeah.
And it's just like I call it the slow motion effect.
Okay.
So to me, everything just slows down. I still know what's happening, what the plan is, but I will say some people just stay down there and never come back up. Like, it can happen. We've had people rip their rigs out of their mouth. Other people try to put the rig back in their mouth, and it just ain't happening. But that's where your training and deep diver certification comes into play. But what Bill was doing back in the day, people would lose their minds. So for now, 220 foot, 230 feet on a single 80, regular air, no trimix. Like, I'm nitrox certified, but even oxygen, like certain mixtures of oxygen become toxic at certain depths.
Right.
So long story short, I was blessed to have Bill as an instructor.
Yeah.
Because he asked us what we did. It was me, my buddy Mark, and my buddy Garrett. And then we're all volunteer firemen. So nowadays you got a swim test. You got to do a lot of stuff like pool work. And even then you're supposed to do all that as far as like dive training. So it's a blessing and a curse. So we watched videos, went over the gear, and then our first dive, we went out to a platform, took the stuff off, all of our gear, took the mask off, cleared up the regs, and cleared our mask, went diving. And that was our first dive. The second dive that we did was at Little Grassy, which is in Illinois.
Yeah.
Which is now drained. But,
really?
Yeah. They had to drain it to repair the dam.
Okay.
But as our second dive, we're in no-viz, basically. And then our goal was to go from one end of the lake to the other. So me and Mark and Garrett were making our way, and we'd pop up every once in a while, but we're getting like separated. So Garrett come back, we're probably in like 20 foot of water, no visibility, with this big stick. and then we all grab hold and then just go across the lake. And when we came up, Bill was like, I watched all 3 of your bubbles. How did you stick together like you're in formation? And then we told him, and he started laughing. And he said, well, I didn't say how you had to do it. You just had to do it.
That's smart.
Yeah. So we stuck together. And then the last 2 to 3 dives we did at Mermet, Bill just stayed on the surface and watched our bubbles. So from that point, our expectations of the visibility and then diving, it was, you got to take care of your buddy, take care of yourself, and be self-reliant, and not all be able to work in an environment where you can't see. It set those expectations versus people doing their open water. They do a lot of pool work, but you can see the entire time. That really helped set a precedence. And then we got on the dive team, and luckily Bill's not here, but I miss the guy every day. But saying what I'm saying, people don't really like as far as us not doing true checkout dives or pool work.
Right.
But getting on the dive team, we did checkout dives. We did pool work because in a meeting in the wintertime, I said something to the effect of, does anybody know where a pool is? And they said, I think the college has a pool we can use. And I said, oh, that's cool, because I've never been in a pool. The entire meeting stopped. I'm like, my buddy Mark's like,
oh crap,
because he was trained in the 90s. Mark was.
Okay.
So,
kind of grandfathered in to an extent, right?
But he kind of got quiet and he did this. And I'm like, oh no, what did I say? And they said, what do you mean you've never been in a pool? And I was like, well, I've never been in a pool on dive gear. And they said, what about your checkout dives? And I said, what's that? So me not knowing, they kind of got concerned at that point. Really took us underneath their wing. We did.
So it turned out to be a really good thing.
It ended up being a great thing. So I got I don't want to say the extreme, but the real life version first of what it's actually like. And then we got into the pool with the dive team, and they were like, look.
So you just jumped ahead and then had
we
to come
skipped
back
a bunch of steps.
Yeah.
But luckily I took the route I did. If not, there's a lot of stuff safety wise, like as far as checking your regs, your dump valves on your gear, maintenance, just the stuff I really didn't know about. So it's kind of like being able to fly a plane, but you don't know the safety side of it.
Okay.
Good and bad. So I got really good at diving. Diving is very, very safe for what it is. But again, I didn't know what the safety risks were until later on, which is good and bad. But we ended up doing a swim test, having to don and doff our gear underneath the water. And then to get going on the dive team, they set up a set of grid lines and no visibility is about 15 foot of water. And they said, as long as you stay on that line, a lot of people don't lose it unless they get disoriented, but a lot of people will lose it if they get disoriented, something happens. But something about having that line keeps people kind of grounded. So with the grid, you got like 2 boxes with weights or like an anchor point at each side, line between those, and then a line coming up with buoys. And then you just slowly work those back and forth each time that you go back between each point.
Okay.
So that's how I got started in no visibility diving. And then,
man, I'd be under there like a 5-year-old on a freaking merry-go-round. I'd be so lost.
Well, that's why I like the lines, because it's very easy to do a search without a line, but you're going to end up somewhere, anywhere and everywhere.
You're going to end up down and around Uniontown somewhere if you ain't careful. You start at Uniontown. I would. And
it wouldn't be a great search. Yeah. With the lines.
I ended up at a farmer's cornfield probably is where I'd be at.
So. Oh, yeah, you do. It's easy to get disoriented because, like, just like walking across the desert, one foot's going to kick harder than the other.
Right.
And then whether you know it or not, you're going to start turning.
Drifted.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that, but that makes sense because I'm going to tell you right now, I think my left foot's bigger than my right foot.
So yeah, you would be
my shoes feel different.
Taking that bigger step.
So that's interesting. I never thought about that.
It happens, and as soon as you think you're in the spot you need to be, that you wouldn't be. So it's like,
and that makes sense because I'm right hand dominant, and if I throw with my left hand, I look like freaking like I'm trying to eat my elbow or something.
Right.
So I could see me veering heavily to the right, and that makes sense.
Slowly, you'll come back to the spot you're probably at, as long as you don't run into something.
Yeah.
But the grid lines, ropes, and then that's a good thorough search if you're looking for a smaller object.
Okay.
And then like with the river, technically, if you're looking for a person, not a vehicle, sonar, wherever you think the object is, you would drop a dog cage, so you get a reference. And then the dog cage is good too if you're like as far as like.
So explain what a dog cage is for people.
So literally a dog cage. So big box that you get at Walmart. So
Okay.
like the kennels.
Mhm.
So they got small up to extra large, but and you have to take the floor out of that, by the way, or else it's gonna be a pain to try to get that to drop in the water.
Okay.
So literally dog cage with a line and a buoy, and just say you had an object on sonar where you're like, what is that? You drop the dog cage as close as you can, as close as you can get it to that object, and run a pass with sonar, and then get it closer, and then you would send a dive down to that. You got your structure, which would be your cage, usually on top of the cage, and then you would, based off the imaging of sonar, drop down and see what it is. You'd be like, it either is something that you're looking for or ends up being a tree, stick, or rock. So it's a good way to rule stuff out. And then if you're looking to see what the size of something is,
It's a good tool to use to measure with.
Yeah.
Okay.
It takes the guesswork out of it.
Wow, that's really interesting. So you start doing all that, and then at what point? And you're a firefighter. You were a firefighter
Yep.
for a long time. Are you still doing the firefighter stuff, or have you kind of moved on from that to?
So I get on the dive team, and then I also get on the Christopher Fire Department, which was not an easy task. I'd been going to their meetings for well over a couple years, but my uncle always had this thing like, just because I'm the boss, just because I'm the fire chief, does not mean you're going to ride my coattails.
Right. So he's not going to give it to you.
He's not going to give it to me at all. So he said, well, you're also on another department, which means you're not going to be on two departments. So I quit the department that I was on, came home, and then my aunt kind of gave him the push, a happy wife, happy life type of deal.
I got you.
And he said, well, I'll get him a set of gear, but I got to ask the board and I got to ask the guys. So the first meeting, probably like a week later, he went in. There's probably like 20 firemen there, and kind of like set of rules. He said he would never discipline me, and he would never give me permission to do anything, or vice versa.
So did he leave that up to somebody?
So a captain.
Okay.
His name was Tom, and that's who I answered to for everything, was Tom. But he said, I want to vote. He goes, either yes or no. He goes, you can vote, on paper, or we can do a silent vote. I don't need to know who voted yes or no. Either way, you're not going to make me happy or mad, like vice versa.
Right.
Everybody voted yes, except for one person, and he
think it was him.
Well, he didn't vote, but
okay.
He made it known that. I'm trying to think. Oh, his name was Aaron. So he voted no.
Do we like Aaron?
Aaron's a great guy.
Okay.
Which is like it's like a bittersweet. Then it's like almost like, what the heck, you didn't vote yes. And he said, basically his reasoning was, he let me know at the time. He said, you're 18. He said, I've been doing this for, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years.
Right.
And he goes, I know where my mindset was when I was 18. And he goes, I'll tell you this, I'm not going to pack up with you and go in a structure fire with you.
Yeah.
He goes, because I don't.
Fair enough.
And, at that time, it's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not mature enough?
Yeah.
And he's like, your mind's not developed.
Right.
And he's like, you can go through the motions, do everything. But he goes, I don't expect, like, one, for you to pull me out of a fire, or me to have to pull you out. And at the time, it was like disheartening. But after getting to where I'm at now, I value his opinion and his respect, and love that dude more than like.
Ain't that amazing how the older we get, like, I always thought mom and dad was like just so hard on me.
Right.
And now I'm like, yeah, no, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So it's just kind of weird how that works. And of course, I always thought, and I think I've told this before, but I always thought that my mom and dad was old when I was small.
Right.
Hell, they're my age,
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
Perspective.
It's just kind of crazy how that perspective kind of plays out and
As you
helps you mature and learn things,
I think it's just like going through a lot of lefts and rights in life to get to where we're at, to where we hit that point.
Yeah.
I remember when my parents were in their 40s. I'm 33, and I'm like, I remember like, man, they're old.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't, and they weren't old. Like,
right. No, that's like, they're in their like mid-20s and stuff when we, it's so crazy to think about it. It just, we didn't realize it then.
Yeah. I wish I could take everything that I know now and go back to being about 15.
Yeah.
About 15.
Yeah.
That way.
Well, we can't because
No.
everything happens for a reason, and I haven't figured out how to develop a dang time machine yet. But we'll get there.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
My uncle that was in his 80s.
He built a time machine.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
wish. He's no longer here, but he's growing up with him, and then we'll get anyway.
Yeah.
He always had this thing like people think you're old and stupid, and I'd be like, I did not understand that.
Yeah.
And it was because he couldn't do the things that he could do when he was in his 50s.
Right.
So like when he got that age, he like claustrophobic, and like him and another guy used to go in and go under the crawl space. The house was on fire in gear, like no issue, like blacked out conditions. But he had a hard time explaining to people on how he wanted something done. So every once in a while he would just do it.
I got you.
But it was hard for him to tell people what to do when he couldn't do it anymore.
I got you.
So he would be frustrated, and he was the boss, but he had like a select few people that still believed in him.
I got you.
But should have retired a long time ago, but he had a lot of knowledge.
But he just couldn't. Yeah, just couldn't let it.
He couldn't let it go.
Yeah, and that's not always a bad thing. I love talking to older people. Like they're a wealth of knowledge, right?
Oh yeah.
So let's get into the whole when you start what you do now. Okay, how did you come up with your name?
Nark Divers.
Yep.
So I don't always articulate, like I'm not always well spoken. So sometimes I'll jump ahead, go backwards, and it's hard for people to follow along. So
a little ADHD bug going
little
on.
ADHD.
Like, I'm the same way.
And then like it's like having a squirrel moment.
Yeah. Well, so
in a
Trey,
way.
people told me that when I started this podcast, I needed to stay in a niche.
Yeah. Well,
then you need to, if you're gonna do this, you need to interview these types of people
Right.
all the time. I can't do that
it's hard to do that.
because there are so many people that I want to talk to.
Yeah.
And it may not have nothing to do with firefighting, or it may not have nothing to do with, couponing at the grocery
Right.
store. Everybody's got a story, and I
everything's
want
interesting in
everybody.
some
Yeah.
way, or every person.
Yeah, especially for somebody like you and I
Yeah.
with ADHD.
It's not
Now
good.
I'm sitting here. I
I
don't
do
know
have
if you had.
ADHD.
Okay,
I
I
really
didn't
do
know
have
if you had it or
ADHD.
not, but I'm all over the place all the time,
Yeah.
right? And I just love to listen to people talk. And I thought, I'm not niching myself. It's going to be an open platform, and I'm going to get everybody to talk about everything they want to talk
Anything and
about.
everything that's interesting.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I always say like there's a lot of lefts and rights to get to where we're at now, and
Right.
everybody's story is or life history is pretty darn interesting.
That's everybody's got a story, and I want them to tell it. So yeah, so how do you come up with Nark Divers?
So Nark Divers, as we were talking about way earlier, at certain depths, people experience nitrogen narcosis. So as we're sitting here, we're breathing air and then I believe nitrogen, and your body is able to off gas
Mhm.
the nitrogen. So as soon as you're breathing compressed air and you're under the water at depth, then the gases that you're breathing can't off gas through your pores. So nitrogen narcosis starts to build up, which is normal, but the longer that you can't off gas, the more nitrogen that builds up, and then it's like the martini effect.
Okay.
So
That's where you got to get into that
yeah,
intoxicated under
Yeah.
the
You
water
could either-
kind of feeling.
some people like me, I feel like everything slows down. It just takes longer for me to react, which is like the judgment thing. Like I probably would not be good at doing math, but some people see cartoons,
Right.
it's like a euphoric feeling. So that, and then me being how I am, it's like being narked. I used to have a T-shirt back in the day. It was like I get narked on the weekends, and there was like this frog, and his eyes were all bug-eyed. So that's how I came up with the name Narked.
I like that, and it's catchy.
And it's
a
catchy.
catchy name. Yeah.
A lot of people will say like Narked Divers or Narked
Narked.
Drivers,
Yeah.
especially when I hand out my cars.
You ever have anybody ask you, "Oh, what do you do? Go around telling on people?"
Yeah. Oh,
And I guess you kind of do
So-
in like a deeper way. And
in
we'll
a-
get into that here in just a few minutes.
I used to work an arm position at a place, and they were like narked. They're like, I don't think that's a good name, bro. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you're narking on people. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
I was like, depending on like, because if you don't know,
Right.
They're like,
I mean, you don't know. You don't know.
they're like, you're a narc. And I'm like, that's not what the name means.
Yeah.
But in a sense, when we find vehicles, whether it was an accident or on purpose, if it was on purpose, a crime has been committed. And if it was on accident, then, you know, somebody's probably in it, unless it was at the boat ramp and something happened, an accident. But odds are that by the time we come along, that's going to be out of there. So I always said, like, whether it's an EPA crime because of, you know, the contamination and stuff,
Right.
or we found a lot of vehicles that are reported stolen, whether that was someone actually stole the vehicle or someone decided to do an insurance job. That's what I
Right.
just say. A crime has most likely been committed, and like, in a sense, we're narking on people.
Yeah.
So you never know when you're at the boat ramp. I always try to be low key,
Yeah.
and I don't try to tell people what I'm doing, because you could be talking to the person that knows there's 5 vehicles in here, or knows, you know, somebody's in there with a vehicle.
Yeah. They could be the person that put the
did it.
vehicle in there.
Yeah.
You know. And I've worked with you before a few years ago, and that's kind of how we kind of came together. And let's go ahead and move on into why you're here, because I think really, you know, I wanted to get a good background.
There's like,
Because you've got to have that to understand why you do what you do. You know, everybody always talks about being a first responder is so
First
tough
responder.
because we see all this
Yeah.
stuff and whatever. You see it from a different angle. You dive on a lot of vehicles. You found
A lot of vehicles.
several. How do you keep count?
I was trying to keep count, but I will say, out of all the places we go, out of all the vehicles that we have found, I don't want to say it sucks. So like when we first started finding vehicles, it was like, this is awesome, but it takes away from what we're doing. And we're looking for 99% of the time, we're looking for a missing person that is in a vehicle, and we'll come across spots that make sense that they could be there.
Right.
And it takes so much time to just dive on one vehicle and then clear it. And I don't want to say you always know, but most of the time, you know pretty quick whether it's their vehicle or not, unless it's silted in or
Yeah.
upside down and you can't get to the area of the vehicle.
Yeah,
that you
and the
want.
first time that I worked with you guys, you know, I rolled up with you, and I was like, okay, they're going to jump in the water, and they're going to, but it was a process.
Yeah, it's a
it
big
was
process.
a lengthy process, and I get it now,
Yep.
you know. But in the beginning, I was like, man, come on, guys,
Yeah, and
hurry up, what are you doing,
yeah,
you know?
that's
But it makes sense
time starts
on what
ticking
you do.
fast.
So let's say you find a vehicle, whether it's somebody says, hey, my truck slipped out of gear, rolled off into the water. Okay. How do you obviously start with sonaring the area, right?
It depends.
Okay.
So the fastest, I don't want to say the fastest way, but the way that I do it, if there were, say we get a call and it was like, hey, my truck just went in the water and there's no current, the fastest way to find that vehicle would be get a 100-foot rope, 200-foot rope, however much you need, tie it off at the boat ramp, go out as far as you can with that rope. Once it gets tight, drop down and then do a pendulum swing, and the rope will, a lot of cars don't have an antenna anymore, but most of the time, if it doesn't hit the car, boat, vehicle, it'll hit the antenna if there is an antenna. And when you're coming around, you'll feel it kind of pull, and it'll take you right to the vehicle.
Oh wow.
And then on the dive team, we have these little buoy markers. You find the vehicle, tie the buoy marker to it, pop it. That'd be the fastest way.
Okay.
But if you're in an area with a decent amount of current, you don't want to, as much as you can, not dive blind in the river, because you will run into everything.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Just because I'm curious about that myself.
And things happen faster than you could think. As soon as you don't ever want to get complacent, because things happen, and I'm the world's worst. I don't want to say getting complacent, but as soon as you look at something and say, okay, there's no current, there's a tree, but this is a straightforward, simple dive, that's when something happens. But most of the time we would run sonar. Really just depends on where you're at, but run sonar, find the vehicle, get a magnet, and a lot of vehicles nowadays are not magnetic. Found that out.
Really?
So I found a Nissan 350Z that was not magnetic. The only thing that was magnetic was the latch, or not the latch, but the where you put the gas in at.
Gas lid.
The lid was magnetic, and that's what the magnet hit. So I could feel my magnet on the vehicle, and then it stuck to the gas lid, dove down, Nissan 350Z. It was the only thing on the vehicle that was magnetic.
So you think that was like a kit car, or was that like from the factory, or?
They make like a lot of your newer trucks are aluminum.
Okay.
So aluminum hood. I don't know about the shit like the actual like where the doors and stuff are,
Body, yeah.
but a lot of vehicles are made out of aluminum now. So
Interesting. Didn't
that's
know
where the dog cage is gonna start taking over again, in my opinion, or a hook, which I don't like using a hook because you never know what you're on.
that. Right.
So like you'd be on a tree that's 5 foot in front of it, and you wouldn't,
You'd be on a gosh dang dinosaur down there, man.
anything and everything.
Yeah.
So I got to remember to bring the dog cage back. Good.
Yeah.
Because then you can drop it down to it, see the in reference point to the size of the dog cage, the vehicle, and then because a lot of times it won't look like a vehicle, it's just straight lines and structure, but you'll see like usually the underbody if it's upside down. And then
So how long did it take you to learn what a vehicle looked like when it doesn't look like a vehicle? You know, you understand?
yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. So on the dive team, just back to that real quick, the conservation police, one dude would drive, one guy would put a t-shirt over the sonar, and I never got to see the sonar. Like if I did, it was short and sweet.
Okay.
So I was always the gopher, the diver, and then working with multiple people. Everyone reads sonar in their own way. So you got to take what you learn from multiple different people, and you have to figure out how to make it work for you.
Okay.
So some people will scan very tight. Some people.
I like that you said that and you didn't say this is the only way.
No, there's a million ways
That's really cool.
It's
that's
how whatever works
interesting.
for you, and they've got Lowrance, Garmin, Humminbird, a lot of different brands,
Yeah.
and they all call it. So like on Garmin, I think there's Clearview, and I can't think of the other name, but I call it side imaging, down imaging. Even though I'm using Garmin, that's not what they call it, but that's what I call it. So down imaging is literally what's underneath the boat.
Okay.
It gives you a more real picture, if that makes sense, of how the bottom is. On side imaging, you gotta take the image and then anyway, I'm not gonna try to explain it, but left and right, and then it'll show you what's to the left of the boat.
So it kind of splits it, basically.
It splits it, yeah. And you got to know where your transducer is on the boat, but it takes that image. The way I look at it, I'm seeing like a 3D image.
Okay.
But it doesn't necessarily look like a full picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You just kinda gotta put
So it
together.
doesn't, like if you're looking for a Ford F-150, it doesn't look like a Ford F-150. It's got these
most of the time it can.
right.
That's what's like weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll look and you'll see the shell, the tires, the truck bed, the cab, and you'll be like, well, that's a vehicle. But then
Have you ever seen one and been like, oh, that's a 1978 Ford LTD? Are you that good yet, or?
so it's weird. So like sometimes the sonar will show great images of the rims,
Okay.
which is weird.
Rims are a telltale sign unless
Yeah.
they're like custom or something.
So like there's been times where you see this outline of the vehicle and then you'll get a good shot of the rim, and I'm like, that's a boat of a car. So like different eras. So like
Okay.
70s and before, and then working into the 80s, vehicles kind of got a little bit smaller. But most of the time, unless it's upside down, I can tell whether it's a van, a truck, or a car. Now, leading into the other day, I really thought it was a truck,
Okay.
and it was upside down, kind of on its side. But the big on the driver's side was, and the front was really silted in. And if you hit it with the river, I was not getting a great image.
Yeah, and I watched that video, and I can tell, man, when I do it, man, I don't know. I guess I'm looking through some beer goggles and stuff. 'cause
Well,
I can decently read some
Yeah.
sonar, but I haven't stuck with it enough to be as good as somebody like you.
I always second guess myself.
And you talk about the cars getting smaller. I mean, they had the Chevy Caprices, and then they jumped down to the little Chevy Chevettes
And then now they're getting
Ford Fiestas, and they're kind of
it seems like they're getting bigger now, but
yeah.
it just depends on how vehicle could be on its side, it could be upright, which is great because then it's not. It just depends, but
Yeah.
if it's upright, as long as it's not buried, it kind of makes it a little harder to recover, depending on what kind of rims are on it, and depending on how much the silt, if it's past the axles and all that.
Okay.
If it's upside down, it's easy to rig up because you got a lot of points to hook up to. But then, as far as like saving what's in the vehicle, and if you, with whether the windows are busted out, and a lot of times it's easier to get to the license plate, but a lot of times the vehicles don't have a license plate on them.
I think a lot of people that would watch this, or that it may reach, have seen some of the other divers out there.
Yep.
And that's what they do to identify a vehicle, is go get the license plate or an emblem or something like that on there.
That's always not a great way to say it is or isn't, because we found a lot of vehicles with the wrong license plate on it on purpose.
I think on one of the dives that I was on, we found a vehicle that had a license plate, and it was actually to a different vehicle than what was in there. You know. So how many missing people have you found?
Technically, with YouTube too, only 2 people.
Okay.
But on the dive team, typically it was, hey, cousin went swimming, or grandpa and nephew were at the river fishing. The nephew went in, grandpa went in after him, and they never came back up. Okay. So we've got, well, I say we.
So you're just talking about people not even in vehicles, just
themselves,
drownings and things, accidental drownings and things like that. Okay.
I don't have an exact number, but it's over 10.
Okay, so several then.
And that's 10 in the water, 2 with YouTube, and then in the fire service actually did a couple recoveries.
Okay.
So
now recoveries and actually finding them is a little different. A lot of times on recoveries, they already know they've already spotted the body, or they've already got them located or whatever for you. So let's get into it. Let's get into James Michael Mills.
So I've been looking for James for a couple years, and it's just one of those things, like so much information. Yeah. And I got. Well,
and that's like, I think when we first met, we kind of went over some different cases locally, and that was one of them. It was like, hey, this guy's been missing since January of 2006. There's all these different theories, allegations, conspiracies. He was murdered. He was this. He ran off. He did this. He, X, Y, and Z. And a lot of people felt like, and I'm using a quote that I heard and read in the news lately, that state police and local authorities didn't do the best job they can. Either way, you can only go as far as the clues, if you will take
trying
you,
to piece everything together.
And I don't know if they ever actually stopped looking, or I don't know that. I can't speak for them,
right?
But I think we talked about that a few years ago, and I felt like that you were, that was interesting to you, being a Uniontown native, and it was kind of close to you. So let's get into that. January 2006, he went missing.
And he was in a 94, the Plymouth Voyager, is that correct? Yep. So I don't want to say looking at a lot of missing person cases and getting tunnel vision. Yeah. So being from Uniontown, I was thinking 94 Plymouth Voyager, but I was thinking more or less the bubbly van.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The bubble. Yeah. So I had a 06.
Like a creeper van?
Well, like the more rounded. So like a 99 Dodge Caravan.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking for a Caravan. Okay. Thinking more rounded.
You're not looking for that
V.
Sharp V, yeah.
My mom had a Chrysler van similar to the Voyager, but I didn't, the year and the timeline, I didn't think of that. And usually I would look
put
more
together,
yeah. Normally I would do a lot of research on the vehicle just to try to so I know what I'm looking for whenever I'm looking at sonar. But I will say, being from the area, I kind of got complacent. Like, okay, Uniontown, you got the river, it's dam locked, and then the areas that we had searched and other people have searched. Mm-hmm. So when I first went out, this would have been, trying to think time frame as far as when my kids and stuff, maybe 2021.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So I went out. You know where the Bottoms is? Mm-hmm. If you go north of town.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the first bridge, and then there's actually a point called Pocus Point like locally. So I was told to go to Pocus Point because one, my stepdad used to go out there, and a bunch of other people. Basically,
That was a spot.
it was a spot to party, right? Hang out, party, whatever you're gonna do. There's a bunch of fishing line out there, and you could literally pull your vehicle off right there, like in a couple of different spots. There's farmland, and it gets super dusty. So on my way out there, there's a little bridge. There's a jet ski off to the side. So I get out. You can see the river from this little creek area. Looking at there because I'm like, well, maybe if it was an accident off to the side or something, I go down there. I'm like, nah, like I don't see it.
It just doesn't work for it.
Yeah. And then I was like, if anything, I'll just take the boat down there and scan it. So I go down to Pocus Point, check that area out. I'm like, man, I was like, it's kind of a rough spot to put a boat in. So I come back, and then there's a spot at that bridge that there's like a belt line for the coal mines, and there's I don't want to call it a swamp, but a little body of water,
a slough or something.
yeah, where you can see where people pulled in. So got that area searched first, and then thought that there was a vehicle there, like backing in, but it's super shallow. And this is with an inflatable back in the day with the literally a broomstick, and then the transducers tied to that. Rubber boats bounce, transducers, even if you get locked in, everything bounces.
Right.
The worst way to try to find something.
But the dedication that you have, and knowing what you know now, and just me also knowing that's crazy that you're
doing that.
Dedicated.
Oh yeah.
And you're making what you got work.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yeah.
And my stepdad, he used to be like, man, son, you got to get you a John boat or something.
You got to get you something, Bubba.
And he's like, because this thing's moving. He's like, I don't know a lot about transducers. He's like, they're usually on the back of the transom. And I'm like, but I don't have I don't have enough room back there to mount that. And you get it's all I kept saying. He's like, you need you a little John boat. And I'm like, well, I got this.
Yeah, this is what I've got. This
so
is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So search that, and then actually threw the magnet out at Pocus Point, pulled up a bunch of screws and stuff. Got the boat in the water, went up there. Oh, Uniontown at the main boat ramp is 3 foot deep, 5 foot deep, like that whole area. And then they actually fill corn. I think it's corn at the barges there.
Yeah.
And you'll watch them sink as they're filling it up. And I'm like, if any of the barge people know how that works, because they must be pushing bottom when they're coming through there because it's shallow.
Yeah, and they. I know they were even having trouble putting regular boats in.
Yeah.
It needs to be dredged. All that sediment that comes off of
it is super shallow.
The creek at Highland Creek.
Yep, right there. And then you got those two points that are kind of locked. Searched all that, went out, and then actually the Indiana side, went over there and searched. And the first time I'm coming up, I'm like, that's a truck. Right? I see a truck. Come back. Scan. I'm like, okay, there's definitely something there, but I can't tell because inflatable boat, transducers bouncing. So later on, I found out I was right, and then I started thinking about all of the vehicles that I missed because of my setup.
Right.
So went up to Pocus Point, didn't find anything at all. And then my stepdad was like, "You didn't find nothing," and I was like, "No," and he's like, I've witnessed people drive vehicles off there, on purpose. He's like,
we had Jacklegs drive a city piece of equipment off in there.
I've seen the pictures.
There's crap in that Ohio River
all over the place.
Yeah,
and he's like, that's weird that you didn't find anything. He's like, because you should have found something, unless that just you're talking 30, 40 years ago,
right?
But he was just in shock that I didn't see nothing. And I was like, all right, I gotta do something that works. So I actually went down to Florida, took a different job. And while I'm down there, in the back of my head, I'm like, this ain't it. Something tells me to literally drop what I'm doing and come back home.
So you get to Florida, you're living that lifestyle down there, that salt life.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And you're like,
absolutely beautiful. I had a dream job. I ain't gonna say where I was working, but it was doing maintenance, diving. Had to work with a great group of people. The money wasn't the best, but it did not feel
enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely loved it. And at the time, didn't have enough experience to get the job. over the years, I got the experience. It was too easy. Got the job, but something told me that
This is not what you're supposed
it's
to be
not.
doing.
Yeah, like it's not it. I literally clocked out at lunch. There's a dude that had a Corvette. I went like this, and he like gave me a weird look, and I left. And like I literally left
Literally.
and came back
just-
home.
Wow.
Like I called my wife and was like, "Hey, I hope you're not mad," but I was like, "I'm coming back home,"
Yeah.
and she was like, "I will support whatever you want to do." So got back home, and I think 3 months later found a missing person. So I was like, "That's my answer. Like that's literally my answer."
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
that's
Even
kinda
if this is the only
confirmation.
person I ever find, that was what was supposed to happen.
You were literally called back home to find that person.
Yeah, and that's true.
mean,
That's how I feel.
That's
like,
awesome.
I always say like higher powers, and I used to say like karma and stuff. But my buddy told me that that's God.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as karma.
100%.
So
That's awesome.
I was like, that's the answer that, whether I knew it or not at the time,
Right.
that's how it was supposed to happen.
Where was this at? Where did
was-
this take place? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that was up in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Okay.
And when we actually found the person early in the day, and then talked ourselves out of it, saying that that's not the vehicle. It's probably an older vehicle. We actually found like a curb with a chunk busted out, but the only way that could be busted out is like direct on, like head on. So like curbs, if you curb it, you have like marks down the curb
Right,
long ways. There was only like that much of a black mark, and it was like head on, and that much of the curb was gone. And then past that, over the sidewalk, there was 2 paths. Like 2 dudes went down there to go fishing. It was the path of the car, but the center grass and stuff wasn't mowed down. So we're like, this is probably just somebody's fishing spot. And if there is a vehicle, it's an older vehicle.
Right.
But then we walked down to the bottom, and at the bottom there was broken rocks, just in that spot that lined up with the 2 trails coming in.
That they packed down. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
So with the actually found the vehicle. It was all no trespassing. Found it with a drone. So scanned the whole area, and then found an image, a silhouette of a vehicle. The vehicle had a sunroof, so you could literally see where the sunroof was, the front window, back window, and the side windows.
With a drone.
With a drone, which is like unheard of because usually you
Right.
can't penetrate the water. The water clarity was dark where the windows are. And that was like when we came back. But we searched all the routes that the person could have went, the other retention ponds around the hospital, and then came back. And then the plan was to just dive it and ask for forgiveness later.
Right.
But because there was posted where you could literally see it, no trespassing, called the police, and then the police, except for one guy, he was older and he was a sergeant. He was like, "Let me go ask the hospital if you guys can dive it." But he more or less just said, "Hey, I got some guys that are gonna dive your pond." Like he didn't really ask.
Yeah. He just kind of told them what was up.
Yeah. And then the younger officers were like, "Are you sure it's not dirt?" And then, then I'm questioning myself, like what it is or isn't. And I'm like, I'll tell you, this is the first car I found with a drone, but if I was looking at sonar, I would say this is a vehicle. Got our stuff donned on, and as you say, it takes a minute.
Yeah.
So it probably took us an hour to get ready.
Right,
It's kind of
absolutely.
cold, got dry suits, double checking everything. Go out to the car. I could feel my fins hit the top of the car, and I'm like, this is a car. Like,
How do you feel at that moment
whenever you're
that you found a vehicle?
Right.
You still wasn't 100% sure it was the vehicle
Right.
with the missing person, but how do you feel when you find that vehicle? When you put hands or
On it.
flippers on it, if
Right.
you will, how does that make you feel?
you're still second guessing yourself in a sense. So like going out, my fins hit it, you can feel the slick. It's like, okay, it is a vehicle. Is it him or her? Don't know until I drop down.
Right.
So dropping down, I got this thing about being like deliberate on my like what I'm doing. So I used to try to go down facing north, so that way if I ever went to court, I could say like I went down, I was facing north when I went under, and then the position of the vehicle was either upside down, upright.
Right.
But I dropped down, on the driver's side passenger window. And at that point, I could see the pillar. It was gray. See the window. So instead of going to the driver's side, right, go like up to the window at first, I'm like, I'm going to be deliberate in my actions. Drop down, go to the rim. I can see the Honda emblem. Okay, it's a Honda. He's missing in a Honda. I go back to the rear, look at the plate. I'm like, that's the plate number. So like, this is the vehicle unless somebody put another plate, swap plates. And at this time, I'm like, okay, the back window is up. The back window's intact. Going around again, rim, Honda emblem, and then go to the back right side. Got windows up. Go around to the front, same license plate on the front, all the windows intact. And I'm not really looking in the front window this time because I know he's like in the back of my head, like I know that he's in
Like
here.
you found what
Right.
you're looking for.
So then I go to the driver's side. I deliberately look away because I was always told to never look. If you know the position of the person, close your eyes and don't ever look them in the eyes because that will haunt you for the rest of your life. Which, you know, each person's different, but
Right.
going to the driver's side, the window is cracked like this much. And then I could see in the vehicle. So I looked at the bottom of the door, slowly looked up, and I could see the shirt. I could see his work uniform, just like in the missing persons flyer. And then I'm like, okay. So then I look, and then seatbelt's on. And then if the seatbelt wasn't on, he probably, there's no telling where he would have been positioning wise. But
Right.
I think at this point, it's like 20 something days that he was missing. The water is super cold, but his arms were up like this. So he was just starting to float. And then I looked, got confirmation. I did look at his face.
Right.
And I was like, okay, it's him. And before this, the police said, don't touch anything if there is. All right. So I'm like, okay, it's 150% him. I come up.
So the moment you see him, the moment beyond the door frame and gazing up, when you are,
Right.
for lack of better terms, face to face with
Right.
him, what goes through your mind? How do you feel? How does,
It's almost in the biggest feeling is like, there's like two things. Okay. It's like a sense of peace knowing that this person is no longer missing. But then like the biggest sadness that we did find him, and then this is the end result.
and I had a search dog, and it was always so gratifying locating
Right.
what what he was looking for. Him locating
Right.
It wasn't me. I was just following him. He was just dragging
No,
me
yeah.
around. And it's always rewarding to a aspect, I guess. But then you've always got that, what could have
Different.
happened differently
Right.
to keep this from happening?
It's there's like two feelings. There's like that sign of relief that, okay, the family's not going to be looking for him forever.
Right.
Like with
They
James
got their closure.
Right. Like with James
for-
Michael Mills, this was 20 days instead of 2 decades.
Right.
And like I said, it's an instant amount of peace, but then it's a big sadness that I'm sorry that I found him,
Right.
in a sense, because why did we have to come out and find him when you had police, fire, emergency management people looking for this person?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who finds him.
Right.
I just
Right.
want every person to be brought home.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to get into that portion of it, but
Yeah.
a lot of this can be prevented,
100%.
especially in 2025. Back then, it probably couldn't have been prevented.
Right.
But nowadays, most people have phones. There's cameras. Like not so much here, in the sticks.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, they could have, at least got a direction.
yeah,
We got
and
the
get
Ring
closer.
doorbell cameras and
Yep.
Wise and all the different types, and
And-
everybody can afford them now.
Yep.
You
They're a
can
lot
buy 'em
cheaper.
for like $10-15, and they're actually good quality
they're
cameras.
decent cameras.
They'll pick up something.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back into it. What made you pick that back up and start doing it? What made you go to that area?
So for James,
Yeah.
So we had searching at the main boat ramp in Uniontown, even
So you say we, who are you talking about? We.
Uh, just some people I used to work with,
Okay. So some other divers,
divers.
and stuff. Okay.
and then I also know that they had searched other areas that I hadn't searched,
Okay.
or we didn't search together, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And then looking at like as much information as I could find as far as like police, emergency management, like areas that they have searched.
Right.
It's kind of like not finding nothing. I couldn't find a guarantee of what areas had or hadn't been searched. So my biggest takeaway was knowing the areas I had searched, and then knowing the areas that other people have searched and me with them, and then there is that they searched without me. So the local boat ramp there in Uniontown probably has been searched a million times. The side on the Indiana side had been searched a million times.
Right.
And then up by Pocus Point, I know that had been searched. And then some areas in the bottoms, I think there's like a creek. I know that had been searched, and they actually found a random vehicle out there.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, growing up in the area, Uniontown, I was like, I know it's locked. And then I started thinking about the people that I know, background, whether it was foul play, an accident. So in my head, based off of all the rumors and the things I think I know, I'm thinking foul play.
Yeah.
Like 150%.
I mean, there was some big time rumors that
like some bad
the
rumors.
spouse did it, and,
Yep.
and of course these are all rumors and
All
allegations. But they say the spouse did it, the spouse's boyfriend did it, this guy did it.
Yep.
He owed this guy money and they did it. So I mean, and it happens with almost every single missing person that goes on for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So
speculation, but you gotta try to comb through all that. So what I ended up doing is just like the moment of clarity.
Yeah, because this is where I want to hear. This is what I want, because it's 19 years.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years.
It's a long time. So back in, I don't remember the exact timing, there was a man from town with his friends that jumped off in the river. He went missing. I think that was the beginning of this year, if I remember right. So I haven't had my truck, but a friend of a friend said, hey, can you get down here and help find this guy?
Right.
So I'm working. I don't have my truck. And my mom's like, you got to get down there. She's like, I'll let you use my Jeep. And I'm like, I don't want to use your Jeep because I'm like, doing this. You tear stuff up, whether you
yeah, it's going to happen
intentionally or not. And I'm like, all right. So I get all my stuff ready. I do my shift. I work. My mom's going to bring me her Jeep. And then that morning, I think either water rescue or someone emergency management found him.
Right.
But during this time, I'm mapping out where he went in at. And I was like, what's the closest spot? Because I got a 9.9. I was like, I either put in Uniontown, or I was like, if I remember correctly, I was like, there was.
When you said 9.9, that's an engine.
Yeah, 9.9 motor. Yeah. So not a big motor for the river, especially once you get gear.
Right, I know, man.
So like, and I'm going in with gear because I'm gonna try to read the water, see where he went in at, and all that. So I was like, what's the closest spot? I was like, I think the closest one is either Old Shawneetown, which I don't want to go upriver, but it actually might make sense, but I'm not going to be able to read the water. So until I get up there. So like, it's either that or I put in up past the dam, and then I'm going to go through the lock and dam. Like, that's time. And as a kid, I remember on a pontoon boat, lady had a pontoon on the water, and there was like either a trailer, cabin, or something in that area somewhere where people would like hang out and then have their boat docked. And I was asking, lady's name is Debbie, a guy named Gary, and then my mom. And I'm like asking stuff about my childhood, where was that at, and like where the guy jumped in at. And I'm like, I think we used to like hang out there on the river, which I ended up being right. Like, it's what happened. And I see this boat ramp on Google Earth. It's not listed. And I'm like, and on the picture, you can see like 3 boat trailers parked there. And I'm like, that would like 2 things. Okay, that's where I'm putting in at. And then 2, I'm like, I know I have not searched that area for James. And I'm like, I got to get, like, I need to do this. And then the next morning, before I could get coming over, they actually found the guy. And I'm like, all right, cool, they found him. And then it's almost like takes the weight off of me, because like juggling everything just to get to a spot, which shouldn't have to be a thing. Yeah. But I'm struggling in that aspect, and it's like a weight lifted off of me, unfortunately. Right. But in the back of my head, it's like I need to search that. And then time goes on, a dumb amount of time. My buddy still has my truck that he's supposed to fix. we're not here. You can see what
Been there, yeah.
you can see what I pulled up in.
Okay.
And then in that time, the boat's set, get a hitch for my vehicle, get everything lined out, and then it's like, okay, we're back to like, I call it my BS, because it's like once I got enough equipment and gear, like any free time, I'm back on me, and I'm searching for somebody as long as it's within a decent amount of time, because
Right.
I only have so much time.
Right.
So I'm like, let's do this.
So you work a full-time job. For
yeah, I
everybody
work
out
full
there,
time.
and you just do this
As much as
a
I can
hobby
when I
on the
can.
side. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even call it a hobby. I would call it a obsession.
It's an obsession.
You know, because you get to that point with it.
A hobby would be always fun, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
and then
like-
doing it like maybe twice, 3
Yeah,
times a month or
yeah.
something. You know,
It wouldn't be, you wouldn't be obsessed about it.
Yeah.
But like with this, it's, I always say like I put in a lot of time and effort for things to not go smoothly,
Right.
or for things to break. And so
Yeah.
I get the hitch on my vehicle. Also I'm thinking I should be good to go. But I was like, I really need to like do a test run, because one, I'm going to be rusty. Two, who knows? So I get the batteries charged up, and I get all my stuff. Go to start the boat. I'm going to run it on a set of muffs. It'll run, but it won't idle. And I'm like, okay. Then it's also not pumping water. So I'm like, do I take this apart like between work? And like for the first time, I take it to a dude to have him just fix it. So I go to Rose's Marine. I think it's Rose's boat shop in Murfreesboro, Illinois.
Okay.
So I know the lower end needs replaced for the pump, and plus it's not idling. I tell them, I was like, you guys want to work on a motor? They're like, how old is it? And I'm like, it's 2016 Mercury 99. And as I'm working on my boat before I get there, my mailman stops, and he was like, is that a Mercury 99? I was like, yeah. And I was like, it's 2016. He goes, I got the same motor and it won't idle. And I'm like, this is like a weird, like it's a
Yeah.
weird set of events, because my mailman never stops like that.
Right.
So we talked for about 5 minutes on, it's a shame that these motors, we bought them because they're 4 strokes and all that.
Yeah.
His doesn't idle either. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking this to someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
He replaces the impeller. He drills out the jets. He actually sits the carburetor in a thing of, not solvent, but basically solvent overnight.
Right. Some kind of cleaner or something. Yeah.
Drills the jets out, puts it together. He calls me less than 24 hours, which is like unheard of.
Right.
It's $170, which is cheap, because I can't buy the impeller kit with all the stuff. It's $100. And I'm like, I said, you guys are awesome, like straight up. So I come pick it up. I go out to the one of our strip cuts, looking for a vehicle, test it, and I'm like, I'm ready, like should be ready to rock and roll. And then get everything home, squared away. So I have this map, like this master map that I have made of literally, it's either a boat ramp, a old ferry crossing, a waterway with a road going by it with little blips
So you've got a map that has like key places
that are not on Google.
Gotcha.
Like and it has, some of it has,
You created your own Google map.
yeah, and there's a lot of time in that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I did find one though that had a lot on it already in Missouri, but I wish that person would do that for the other states. But
I got you.
so put all that together, and at first I was going to go to an area that I've searched before, dove on some stuff, but need to do a better job at diving on it. Just always run out of time is what happens. I'm like, that's a bit out of the way, like just in case something breaks, because I don't know.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I was like, let me look at James's thing again, like just because. So I pull up James. I just vaguely look at the missing persons flyer. I'm like, okay, it's everything I already know. Like,
Just kind of refreshing.
just a refresher. And I'm just sitting there. And then ironically, there's a lady missing with 2 kids up in Missouri.
Oh wow.
So I map all that out, and then I have a thing set up to where if they do find her, I get a text message. So they found her from the time that I went to sleep, woke up. So when I get back on James's flyer, and I'm looking
Was it a good find or?
it was a good find.
Okay, good.
So like
she was alive.
I was like, thank God, like
Yeah.
something positive for once,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Because it was not looking good,
Oh wow.
especially with in the city ALPR. But she somehow was able to intentionally disappear.
Oh wow. Okay, good.
So get off of that. pull up James's stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just look at this at a basic perspective. Like I don't know anything. Like I'm not like just
clean the slate.
take away all the rumors. I'm like, okay, vehicle, James, 2006, simple. So I'm like, we searched Old Shawneetown, so searched the main boat ramp, we searched creeks, like lots of different areas, even search across the river, which that really wouldn't make sense, right? But why not? And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, there's a boat ramp that we haven't searched. I'm like, so I pull up my map and I'm like, there's a little marker. I click on it and I'm like, that's like the only spot like that he could be if he's in the river. And then thinking, not, you know, trying not to think about it, but knowing some of the locals, knowing a lot of people, I'm thinking if it is foul play, he's not in the water, is what I was thinking.
Right.
Like I think somebody like dug a hole with some excavating equipment, and that's you will never find him. Is what I'm thinking. But I also thought about like there's something we learned in 40 hours in the police academy. I won't like say it too much because I know like
yeah.
No,
I got you.
So whenever certain things happen, you have to go into like big muscle memory because of the amount of adrenaline that people experience when things like that happen. So I'm thinking, okay, whether it's foul play or an accident, let's just say it's foul play because that's what I really thought, right? Something happens, that adrenaline hit is going to happen regardless, even if you've experienced that before. So like big muscle memory, what are you going to do if you're not thinking clearly and you feel like urgency? You're going to dump the vehicle.
You want to get rid of it.
Yeah, quick.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be thinking about the big picture.
Right.
So I was like, close by, close enough to where, but remote, no witnesses. I'm like, it definitely ain't going to happen in town. Plus, it's 5 foot of water. And I was like, Pocus Point would have made a lot of sense, but you still would have had to go through town. I was like, if you're like scared, nervous, adrenaline kick, I was like, that's remote as shit, is what I'm thinking. And I looked to make sure no one had like searched that area, which I was told that they had. But at the time, I'm like, no one searched this. And then, like, so I work midnights. So, like, I did my nap thing and all that. And I'm like, I either go now or I'm probably not going to go.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll just go because I feel good energy wise. And I was like, you can see the sonar 10 times easier at night. I was like, I might be a little like disoriented as far as like the bank and stuff. But I was like, I'll bring my lights. I put the boat trailer in at this spot. It's off of Dyke Road.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually
how was the current there?
Like none.
Wow.
There was like when I showed up.
So
I was
at
really
this point,
surprised.
I feel like the rocks are showing.
Yeah, they're like a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's like no.
Because when they're underwater, that current
it's
ripping.
It does the ripple effect, and then you got the washing machine effect.
Yeah.
That's what I expected to roll up on.
I got you.
Plus it's nighttime, so I got there about 1 a.m, give or take. But as I'm coming in, there's the gate, and I'm like, I remember this gate from when I was a kid, and it says like something about not low passage, but like flooding and stuff. If the gate's closed, is the area it's inaccessible. So I'm coming in, and then past that, I'm like really getting childhood memories because like I don't know if it's alfalfa, the fields, or what, but like my windows are down. I'm like, you can just smell the fields.
And doesn't things smell better?
Oh, it smells like
midnight
clean,
and beyond.
And like
it's just so crisp,
and you can hear like far.
And I think it's because you don't have so many people out there running their mouths, filling it with hot air. I don't know, but
no, it makes sense.
Anyway,
it was like that. Felt really peaceful.
Yeah,
and I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm just happy to be here. Like at this point, I pull up, and then I always look at the boat ramp. I'm like, hell, we got a great boat ramp. And then I get the boat ready, and I back down straight with the boat ramp, and so I'm looking driver's side.
Okay.
And I can't really see out the passenger side, but I'm like, man, the boat should be good because the bunk's probably sticking up.
Yeah, and that boat ramp kind of goes like this, not straight in, so it kind of goes at an angle.
So the boat is like this, the trailer.
Gotcha.
So the passenger side, the bunk's completely underwater, and I see the tongue is twisted. Like it's almost about to pop off the ball.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, this is such an easy search. Like there's no current. I'm like, okay. So I'm pulling out, and then the boat ends up on the bunk, even though it wasn't. So I get everything in park and e-brake on.
Man, your luck sounds like mine.
It was,
I can have every single tool to do the job, and something is going to go wrong.
I'm like, if I'd have just had a spotter, that'd have been like, whoa, right. And I'm like, I hope I didn't. And I had the transducer down at this point, and I'm like, I hope I didn't just hit something. I'm like, my luck, I did, but we're gonna see. So I back in at an angle. I'm like, you know what? At this point, I'm just gonna do what I do down in Nashville. So I get the trailer off on the rocks that's not on the boat ramp, so that way if somebody does come, I don't got to move the vehicle for a second time. Get it in there at an angle. It's still trying to sink on the one side. So I'm like, oh my God.
Good times.
I'm like, why? And I'm like, that means the whole thing is slanted like this. So I finally get it at a decent angle to where it's kind of twisted but not terrible. I'm like, okay, cool. But I don't have I got some pretty long boots that I wear. They're in the back of the Jeep. I'm like, all right, whatever. Get everything ready to rock and roll. Start the motor. Keep turning the choke off, and it keeps dying. So
you just spent this money.
Yeah. Okay. So apparently it will run great, but you got to put it all full choke, start it. Even though I think I'm going to foul plug, let it run on choke for a good 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Just let it run.
Good old Mercury.
Yeah. 4-stroke too.
Oh, wow.
So, but once it gets warm, you're good. So I messed with that for a good while, a solid 5 minutes, because I kept turning the choke off.
Right.
Get the motor ready to rock and roll. Sonar's on. Back out. I'm like, let's run the boat for a minute. So I go out. So you can see the boat ramp. And then I'm just imagining there is, like if there was current, the position if most vehicles would go. So I scan out. I put it at 50 foot. I'm down imaging. I don't know. I think I put it at 30 or 40 foot. And then I think at the boat ramp, it's probably like 10 foot right there. Mm-hmm. And it actually, when you go out in the channel, it goes to like 6 foot. So not deep.
Right.
So I spin around, and then as I'm coming back on the right side, I think it was the right side, I see actually, let me take that back. As I'm going out, I see structure on the left side of the boat, and it just sticks right out.
Shut up.
And I'm like, that's a vehicle. And I'm crooked. I'm not going the speed that I'm supposed to go because I'm trying to get the motor ran up. I'm not, at this point, I'm not even scanning yet. Like the sonar's on, it's scanning.
So you're in the water not even 5 minutes at this point.
Yeah. And I see.
And you've already possibly solved a cold case.
Yeah.
Or located a cold case.
It takes a lot of steps to get to that.
Right.
So I going downriver, and then I see the structure of a vehicle 50 foot out on the sonar, probably at 35, 40 foot across, and just perfect outlines, man-made lines. I'm like, that's a vehicle. Get the boat turned around. I'm past the vehicle at this point. So I'm trying to in my head, dial in. I'm like, okay, bank, boat ramp. And in a sense, it's kind of like, I also can't see all the way over there, but I'm like, it's kind of very far in for it to have came off the boat ramp, really. Unless there wasn't current and it floated in a weird way. But get everything kind of pinpointed. And then I see the structure again on the sonar. And I'm like, well, that's a vehicle. So, but at that point, I don't exactly know where it's at, right? Because it was on a big image. So then I scan. And the closer I get to it, I'm like, that's not a vehicle. So the closer I get to it, and I also had to reduce my settings because if you're right up on top of something and you're scanning 50 foot out, it's going to be I don't want to say it's going to be distorted, but it's going to look a little different.
Yeah.
So if you're in, well, we'll get to that, but the closer I get to it, the more it doesn't look like a vehicle, and then it does, right? Back and forth.
It's bam.
Yeah. Something if it's a vehicle, it should really be showing up. So I get everything. So it's in 15 foot of water. I know that. And then I put the sonar on 30 foot left and right, and 30 foot on down imaging. So relatively know where it's at because of the trees. And then I'm like, is it part of the tree? And I'm like, it can't be part of the tree because the trees are here sticking up out of the water. There's literally a clear space of like a gap, and then you can see the structure. But it's starting to look more like a big log with debris on it, is what I'm thinking. But I scan, I'm like, let's split it, hit it with down imaging. Because like usually on down imaging, it's like boom, especially you're right above it. I go across it with down imaging and side imaging. Pretty much nothing shows up on down imaging, but I know I split the vehicle because it's on the left side and the right side of my sonar.
Okay.
And I'm like, that doesn't make any
And
sense.
splitting means you're over top of it.
Yeah, so
Running directly over top of it, and you got
the
part
picture.
here.
Yeah,
Okay.
the picture goes. It spans from the left side of the boat and the right side of the boat on the sonar.
And then right in the middle of that sonar is like an empty spot.
On my down
which
imaging.
is your boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in that spot on down imaging, it should have like showed a great picture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the only thing it was really showing was like a little hump, and then maybe 2 spots. Like I don't even think the two rims were on there, but it looked like a little log, which means the dimensions are not correct for a vehicle, like size wise.
Mm-hmm.
In 15 foot, it should have been like bam, but it was not. And then but on my left and right, I'm like, okay, it's a car, but then I'm second guessing everything.
Right.
So I turned down imaging off. I put it on side imaging only. I go get the buoy, magnet, and rope, and I'm like, it's a car. And then 50-50, because I'm also rusty. Like I haven't got to do this in 6 months.
Oh wow.
Like I've researched cases, but I've not got to.
So is this your first one, like in 6 months that you've
first vehicle
you've been able to get out?
First vehicle and first person, which is like the other day. I told my wife when we were practicing, I was like, everything's going to be a vehicle until it's not, because I'm so rusty.
Yeah.
Like normally I'd come through and be like, okay, it's clear. Yeah. But I was finding big objects, and I was like, I should have brought
car.
I was like, that's a car. And then we get closer, and I'm like, it's not a car. I was like, but I would rather say it is,
right,
instead of just being like it's not. So I come out with my buoy, marker, and magnet. Go to the spot. I see the tree, like just for like reference. Split it again. It's not on down imaging, but it is on. I split it. I split it because it's on sonar left and right. I'm like, so I put the boat in reverse, and then back up, throw the magnet off to the left of me. I'm like, I should be running right into it if there is. Kind of feel like a scrape. I'm like, I'm on something, and then boom, like it locks on. I'm like, all right, so put it neutral, turn it off, start getting all my slack out of the rope. I'm like, okay, it's definitely on it. And I'm like, you know what? I bet I'm on a branch, and I'm like, I bet it's like this.
I think it's in the wire or something, or hung up underneath of it. Or...
So I was like, let's get it to bounce, if it's not. So I'm like, I get it tight, and I do the slack thing, but I'm not getting any slack, which means it's like it's stuck.
It's on there.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm like, it's magnetized on something, or it's the branch. So I'm like, let's pop it off, right? So it's just to make sure it's magnetic, and it's not like stuck. So I'm on the side of the boat. I'm standing up, and this is back by the motor. Pulling. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm like, I'm gonna pop it off. So I'm standing up, and I'm like this. I'm like, holy crap! I was like, it is not coming off. Like it's not coming off. I'm like, that's weird. Like usually if you do that, it's popping off. I'm like, okay, it's probably a tree. It's probably stuck. Right, is what I'm thinking. So then I try to take it downriver, like different positions. I'm like, whatever it is, it ain't coming off until I dive it. So I take all my slack out, put the rope through the buoy, and then I do a knot with gives you like a circle. I take my carabiner and then loop it so it can't come out of the buoy, and then take all my slack rope and then take the carabiner and hook it.
Put it over here.
Toss it in. I'm like, that's a pretty good spot. So I'm like, now I ought to be able to get a great image. So I put my sonar on 30 foot, down imaging on 20 foot. So then I go right by the buoy. It's nothing on down imaging, which is like blowing my mind. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But I'm still splitting it. I can see it on side imaging. So then I back the boat up into the trees, like sideways with the channel. And then I do a running start, get it about 4 mile an hour, put it in neutral, kill the motor, and then probably anywhere between 2 and 3 mile an hour, and then that's when you get the image with the tires and then the upside down vehicle on the sonar. And I'm like, well, that is 100% a vehicle, and that's what it looks like on down imaging. And like I was like, I can see my line going down to the tire. And at this point, it's probably like maybe 3 in the morning. Maybe 3 in the morning. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of cold, to be honest.
Right.
And I'm like, I ought to just dive this and then just, save a lot of time. And I'm like, no, that's a bad idea, because if something happens and I get disoriented, at least when I pop up, I can see what's going on.
Right.
Because a lot of times you can't see in the river anyway. So I'm like, all right.
Well, and that's the clarity of the river.
It changed. Dude, it was great.
Are you kidding me?
This time was pretty
well,
darn
probably because the
great.
current wasn't rushing through
Yeah.
there, and you didn't have
And it was-
like mini Niagara Falls
Yeah.
coming at you.
It was rocky and sandy. So like
Interesting.
it helped. Like usually, like I know on the Uniontown side across the in town the boat ramp, it doesn't matter. You can't see.
It don't matter.
You're just close your eyes and feel. So
Hmm.
so I was like, I almost dove it, and then I'm like, now I'm kind of tired. Like
Right.
it is what it is. So I was like, well, also this thing, like, don't get tunnel vision. So you found a vehicle, it doesn't mean it's who you're looking for.
Right.
But I know it's a vehicle. The hard part's done. It's marked.
Yeah.
I was like, look, I'm just going to scan everything. So I go up to the vehicle, or my vehicle, get my hoodie and then my fleece cap and all that, drink. I'm like, so I actually sit there for a minute. I'm like looking at my image on the sonar. I'm like, I really wish it was daylight. Like, I just got the itch. So I want to dive on this, but it is what it is. So I back out. I'm listening to music, scanning. On the whole time, though, it's kind of hard to keep your vantage point to where the boat ramp is. So I put everything on like 50 foot, 60 foot, turned off down imaging. So I'm scanning way out. I scan like way down river, along the bank, come up, back and forth, and I go to the boat ramp, go directly out, straight out, multiple times, scan way out, come up towards the boat ramp, back and forth. I'm like, well, I was like, there's no other vehicles in here. It's probably like maybe 4:45, 5 in the morning. So I'm trying to like keep myself occupied.
Yeah, just killing time, just waiting.
Just killing time. And I'm like, I ought to go like get breakfast or something. But I'm like,
It's so
nah.
hard to leave, ain't it?
Yeah, you can't leave.
So
like-
let's leave real quick. Let's take a break.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we'll get back to it, and we'll start talking about the break a day and how everything
There we
plays
go.
out.
Yep, that'll work.
So let's thank our sponsors. We got the Fat Boy app, the only locally owned and operated mom and pop restaurant locator. Hey, you can download any of these apps and search the search engines on the big world wide web, and you're going to get chain restaurants, and it's going to leave out some of those really nice and tasty mom and pop restaurants that you may not know about when you're traveling. Well, the Fat Boy app is changing the game in that they're going around and signing these restaurants up so you can make it so it's a little easier to find these mom and pop restaurants so you can support local and eat some really good food. That's the Fat Boy app. You can download them in the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, so Android or iOS, or visit them on the web at www.fatboyapp.com. Stephen Watson's at Watson's Transmission. Man, we need to get him a crown because he's the king of transmissions. Listen, you're taking your boat to the lake and your trucks are shimmying and shaking and it's just not shifting into gear. It's probably because you need to go see Stephen Watson and get some transmission work done. He is one of the only transmission guys around here, and he is considered one of the best. That may be just my biased opinion, but that's the word on the street, folks. Stephen Watson at Watson's Transmissions. You got Jen's General Store up there in Morganfield. Take a step back in time when you walk into her store and get greeted like you never. You think the Big W store greets you when you walk in? Well, you ain't walked into Jen's General Store. Go in there and get you a big, thick bologna sandwich and an L8 from Winchester, Kentucky, man. If you ain't had that combination, then you just ain't living. You just ain't living if you ain't been to Jen's General Store. We thank her for her support. Ironstein Coffee, located in Morganfield. Man, they're up there just brewing up some coffee and roasting some coffee beans right there in Morganfield. That's our little hometown coffee place. Ironstein Coffee. Jerry and his buddy take care of you. Man, they got so many different brews and flavors and aromas, if you will. They got coffee for days. Coffee for days at Ironstein Coffee. they cater to your business. You got a business and you want some coffee to hand out at like some expos or some conferences, man, they'll slap that logo right on there of your company. They'll hook you up, man. They're shipping all across the United States now. So they're growing every day, and we thank them for their support. Jake Wolf at Wolf Customs. Let me tell you about Jake, man. He was a coal miner, and he said, you know what? I don't want to do it no more, so I'm going to start my own business, and that's what he did. He started Wolf Customs there in Waverly. You need a lift kit. You need, you need tires. You need brake jobs. You need little engine work on your motor. Your motor's not purring like it should. So you go see Jake Wolf at Wolf's Customs, and he's going to take care of you, man. He takes care of us here at the Front Porch America podcast. Let's see here. We got Hackney. We got Mr. Hackney, Shane Hackney out of Marion, Kentucky, and Hackney Door Company. Man, you need garage doors that open. You need garage doors that closes. Hey, you got a garage door that squeaks. Holler at Shane Hackney. Man, I seen he installed a black garage door on this lady's garage, and the sucker's pretty. You got to go check it out at Hackney Door Company. You find him on Facebook under Hackney Door Company. Man, I don't know what else to say about Mr. Shane. He's a good buddy of mine, has been a friend of mine for many, many years, and he does good quality work. So if you're looking for garage doors, hit him up. Billy Perkins up there at Warwick County Tire. You need tires, you need mud tires, you need slick tires, you need grippy tires, you need soft tires, hard tires. He's got that for you, and some of the best prices around up there in Boone, Vegas. So go see Billy at Booneville at the Warwick County Tire, just below the McDonald's there in Booneville. So go check him out. Josh Parrish at BHG Realty. Listen, man, you need a house. You're looking for some property. You're looking for commercial property. Josh is the go-to guy to do it, man. He is called the closer, and they call him that for a reason, because he gets the sales locked in at the best prices, and he gets the job done. And we really appreciate his support here at Front Porch America. Man, we've got... All right, so we're back, and you open up the scan, man. You got a wide open view.
Yeah, and then I could every once in a while still see the vehicle. It's weird how on my sonar, like, I can see vehicles very far away, and then for whatever reason in my head, I know it's a vehicle.
Okay.
And then the closer I get, the more I second guess myself.
Yeah.
And not for sure why that works that way.
I think it's like something psychological.
It's a psychological thing.
Just a mental. Yeah.
And I think it's like I used to use a Humminbird 7, and that's when the transducer was bouncing, and which ended up being a good thing, because I learned on a bad setup and a cheap sonar.
Oh man, yeah, you were finding vehicles on some rough stuff.
On rough.
And now that you've got a better setup, it's...
As soon as I got the Garmin, which I'll argue against it. Everybody says Humminbird has better side imaging. I think it's just the way, I don't know. I love my Garmin. Like, if there was such thing as a Garmin fanboy, like, I am 150% all in with Garmin. So people love Garmin for their live scope, but I love Garmin for the entire, like, everything they have to offer, because Garmin, I mean, they make everything, like airplanes. They make, I'm trying to think what else. So Garmin doesn't just make fish finders, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So they make, like GPS.
Yeah,
I'm getting excited.
All kinds of stuff.
They make a lot of things.
Are you sponsored by Garmin?
No.
Yeah, should be.
I wish.
You should be.
You know, they don't even sponsor like some very big channels, which the reason I don't want to say the reason they don't, but they don't have to. Like their name and their product,
their equipment kind of sells itself.
It sells itself.
So, yeah.
So I love Garmin all the way. Like I thought
they could at least send you a T-shirt.
I will say
stickers.
I had a transducer break. They fixed that for free, and my sonar quit working. They replaced that for free.
I've heard a lot of good stuff.
So like,
I don't have a boat anymore, and I hate it. That's the dumbest thing I've ever done. I just got rid of my boat, but I'll have one
eventually. You just gotta.
I'll have one pretty soon.
Be persistent.
But yeah, Garmin's always been,
they're great.
They're good stuff. So anyway, so you're wide open, you're scanning, you're waiting for day. What's that song? Praying for daylight.
Praying for daylight.
Yeah.
And then it gets cold right before it gets daylight.
Oh, tell me about it.
So I was like warmish until probably like 6:15.
Right before the sun comes up.
So about 6:15, like the sun was up, but not really. It was daylight. But I'm like, started doing the shake. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I got to get. So I put the boat up, got in the vehicle, started it, turned the heat on, and it's like you get impatient. But I was like, I know if I don't get warm now, I'm
Right.
definitely not going to get warm by the time I get in the water. So I'm sitting there, going through my camera stuff, trying to get it like halfway ready. Like man, I just want to warm up, like just cold. A dude comes in. I ain't gonna say what was on his truck, but I don't know if he's a YouTuber or a fisherman. Like I know he's a fisherman, but he might have been a YouTuber. He said something like anyway, something fishing. And he's like that. And I'm like, hey. And then he puts in and he goes upriver. I'm like, well, that was usually people want to talk. I'm like, that's cool
Pretty
too.
busy.
Cool too. Like he was on a mission.
Yeah.
So roll the windows down. I'm like, start him on around, get my stuff ready. And at this point, I'll be honest, I was being lazy. So I've got a tank with 1,200 pounds of air, which I know it's 15 foot of water. And then I have not dove on a regular set of rigs in, heck, 4 years. Probably like a good 4 years. Just
Oh, wow.
nothing but full face. And just a mental thing. So I've actually regular set of regs, and then my mask has, at the time I forget, it has a yellow lens. So it changes the color of things under the water. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm tired, being lazy, and
Yeah.
then get my stuff ready to go. My camera mount is broke that goes up here. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I put it on my chest rig. I'm like, it's 15 foot of water. Get everything donned and ready to go. I'm like, I even like jokingly said, like, let's see if I can even dive this way still. Which the only good thing about diving on a set of rigs is like air consumption. You can really, if you need to use less air, you can really make yourself use a lot less
So
air.
you're saying dive on a set of regulators?
Yeah, so that set of regs that go in your mouth versus
Okay.
yeah.
And
Versus
versus the
the full
whole
face.
face. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you.
So I have this thing, since I'm by myself 90% of the time, instead of putting the boat over the vehicle, I'll jump out in current and then rock and roll to the buoy marker, drop down the best I can. So that way, if I get blown off the car, my boat's not sitting there and I'm not trying to get back to the boat.
Right, I got you.
So that's what I do. I get off, except there's no current. So then I'm like, damn, I keep doing this. Because I'm like, surely I'm at the car, like at the buoy already. And I haven't dove in a good 6 months.
Yeah.
So then I'm doing the bicycle kick, trying to get out there, still not to the buoy.
I'd be able to dog paddling.
That's, yeah. So like now I'm getting kind of frustrated because I'm like, dude, I was like, I'm kind of tired. Like just getting out to this thing, which
Oh, because normally the current
there's
will
current.
push you,
Yeah,
and
normally
you're
you
there.
yeah, normally you're just like you have everything ready to go before you're at
Yeah.
the thing, and you
Wow.
just drop down. I'm like, there really is no current. I'm like, damn. I'm like, it kind of.
So you're working for
Yeah.
it.
So I'm like, finally get to the buoy. I'm like, okay, okay, I'm tired, but let's just get underwater. So my mask is fogged up because I don't have I didn't use no soap, didn't bring no soap. I'm dropping down, and as I'm dropping down, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I stop midway, do this real quick, let water in, clear it, drop down to the vehicle. Like I hit the technically would have been driver's side rim.
Okay.
Mask is fogged up again. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm like, I know I'm on a vehicle, and then I'm like, still fogging up. Like,
So you've got these small complications happening.
as it's happening.
What are you thinking? Because to me, I would be thinking something doesn't want me to find what I'm fixing to find, or something doesn't want me to do what I'm fixing to do, or what?
It's like
What's going through your mind?
I'm like the normal. I don't want to say formality, but the normal things that happen, like just the normal
Just
issues.
okay.
I'm like, it's annoying. Like if I find it annoying, that's a good feeling because it's like, I don't know. If it's annoying, it's usually not like life threatening.
Right.
Right. But I always things can go wrong. And I'll be more annoyed than anything.
Okay.
But
I get you.
until those like senses kick in.
Yeah.
But drop them down. I'm on the vehicle now at the rim, and I'm like, I can't see anything. But like I can still see, but not clear.
Right.
And plus, I forgot that my lenses are yellow because like this is my open water setup. like just for fun diving,
Okay.
that I've not done in 4 years. Like
Open water, clear.
just
nothing
clear, like
obstructing.
there's no
Yeah.
mission, and I didn't think about the color of objects changing because of the lens that I'm using. So I'm like, okay, rim. And at this point, I'm like, there's another vehicle that some person has dumped in here because they didn't want it, or insurance or whatever. So I feel like I'm feeling along, and I'm actually at the driver's side door. It's upside down. Everything looks orange. So the vehicle looks orange, the rim looks orange, like the paint markings look orange. And at the time, I forget that I'm using this stupid lens, right? That changes colors. So I go down to the would be the rear of the vehicle, and there's a tree laying across, and I could get to that rim, and it's like a steel rim, but this portion of the vehicle is very silted in, like it's covered up to where you can't see what it is. And also, I can't see anyway, really.
Right.
I'm just doing my feeling around a lot. And then I'm like, let's just see if I can get to the other side of the vehicle. So I'm thinking orientation wise, the other side is probably opened up, which I am correct at that in that thinking. But because of the tree, as I hop over, like I call it hopping over, almost like bunny hopping.
Right.
So I'm trying to get to the passenger side, technically. As I do that, because of the tree, because I can't really see how far the tree goes, I drop down at the back of the vehicle, like literally in the back of the vehicle, the back hatch. And then there is, but I don't know this, right? I drop down, I'm there, I see a rim, like a tire, and then I feel the tire, but everything's super fogged up, so it's like hit and miss.
And you're kind of used to diving and not being able to see stuff, so it's just annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying
it's
that it's
not
happening.
A game stopper,
right.
Or whatever. You can still continue.
So I'm not gonna focus on clearing the mass, because typically, like, I'm bad about, I don't want to say bad, but you're trying to push. So like in the fire service, you're pushing into the structure. Like you're just pushing to get as far into that structure as you can find. It's like the same rules ish when you're diving. You're trying to just get to that point to where you know what it is, right? Or to wherever you're trying to get. So I find a tire, and I think that I am on the outside of this vehicle, right? I don't think that I should make sure there's a rim in this tire, because feel the tire. I'm like, okay, I'm on the outside, and odds are I close my eyes, because it's just like what I do, especially not being able to see. And then you're feeling everything, and you're painting a picture in your head, just to try to get a feeling of how the vehicle is, where it's at, and all that. As I'm going, I'm probably opening my eyes and closing them just to reference. So I grab this tire that there's no rim in, but at the time I think it's part of the vehicle. It's in the back of the van. So I grab that, and I'm going along doing this, and then I find another tire, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, well, maybe it's just smashed and bent, and that would make sense. So then I'm pushing. I make my way in the van. I don't know I'm inside this van. And then it's upside down, and I don't know it at the time, but the carpet, actually, as I get up in the van, which I don't know this, I think I'm on the outside and there's just no viz. The carpet falls down, and then I'm like, I hit like a wall. What feels to me a wall is a wall, but it's really the driver's seat and the passenger seat, but we're upside down. And I'm like, well, what is going on? And I'm like, well, what the heck? I'm like, I have overhead environment now. So like I do this, like right, and I'm like, what in the heck? And then like on the right side. So I'm like, what am I in? And then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm on the outside of the vehicle, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm in the side of the vehicle, or I'm up underneath this ledge, and I'm underneath the vehicle. So I think I'm underneath the vehicle. And then like I try to go down, like I'm like, dude, I'm stuck in this damn thing. And then I could feel my legs, like something that was like on my legs. And I'm like, so at this point, I'm like, what? Like,
are you panicking at all?
I'm like, I'm pissed.
Scared?
Like a little part of me is like, there's just like things that go through your head. That's like, okay, dumbass. Like, okay, dummy. You started with 1,200 pounds. That was stupid. You started not using your full face mask. That was stupid. And I was like, now you're stuck in this thing, and it's 6 in the morning, and nobody knows you're out here, except for like a couple people. I sent my
Except for that
location.
fisherman that
Which he actually didn't come back until like way later. And I'm like, what a dummy. Like, and I didn't even tell anybody like, hey, I'm going to begin this dive. Right. Like usually I was like, hey,
normally you'll say, hey, I'm starting going. Yeah.
Like I got to like select few people that know exactly where I'm at, and I'll be like, hey, I'm starting the dive. Like, and then when I get back, I'll let you know. So I'm like, you dumb.
Right.
So then like the voice of reason popped in. It's like, yo, you're diving a set of regs. That's actually a good thing. You can make this last a long, long time if you need to. Calm down. So I'm like, okay, calm down. And I'm like, all I got to do is follow my legs. You came in, whatever you're in, it doesn't matter. Follow your legs. So then I'm like, okay. So like I kind of go back, and I could feel my legs like getting in, like nothing's around my legs anymore. So like coming out, which I think I'm underneath is what I think I'm doing. Finally get into this open environment to where I'm back to the tree, and I'm like, shot to the surface, like
kind of clear your head.
Yeah.
And just relax a little
I
bit.
let out the air as I'm coming up, and I'm like, take my mask off, and I'm like, damn. And then like I could feel like the bump.
Dude,
So
my heart's beating right now.
like adrenaline, right? And I'm cussing. And I'm like, you dumb. Like I'm saying, you dummy. Like
I mean, they could have went so many ways.
And then I always say it's a safe dive until it's not, right?
Goosebumps and just
Yeah, it was.
like my heart's beating. It's like I'm there.
It's not
crazy.
the worst one, but then I'm reflecting on other times that I've been underneath stuff stuck, and at each time it's because I was like complacent and thinking, oh, it's only 15 foot of water, or it's only this, or it's only only that. So don't get complacent, even when you think it's the most simplest dive ever. So I'm like now I got to get back to the vehicle. So which felt like it didn't take that long to get back to the vehicle. Get back up there, take my stuff off.
Where's your adrenaline doing right now?
Like right now?
No, like at that point.
At that point, like just boom, just that heavy tin can feeling, like your heart's in a tin can. But it's also like a channel of calmness, because you got to be able to like think,
right?
Cool, calm, and collective. So like part of me when I was stuck in the van was like annoyed, like here we go again. But the other part of me is like grizzly bear moment,
right?
It's like boom, like trying to get out, but then you're like, you don't ever want to do that or freak out, because if you do, that's when things happen.
Yeah,
you would use your air for no reason. So then like you got to start thinking like cool, calm, and collective. And
okay, it's just another Monday morning at work,
But when my brain said, hey, dummy, follow your legs out. You came in here, like whatever you're in, your legs should be not, stuck. And then I was thinking like, if I gotta, there's like one good thing about being in the fire service, like it's always coming up with a solution. So like, but I skipped like a lot of steps. So like at that point, it's like, okay, let's take everything off, and then we'll just turn around and push back our way back out.
Right.
With the gear not on, like you do with like SCBA.
Right.
But the voice of reason popped in, like, let's just try following your legs out. So like sometimes the most simplest thing is what you should do first. And just being cool and calm.
Just kind of eliminate, just
try to channel that adrenaline into the right thinking. But get back to the vehicle, throw everything off. And like I'm sitting there and I'm like, and I got like a bunch of footage I've not released yet, but I was like talking to the camera, and I'm like, I'll just be honest. I was like, I did it again. Like I got stuck in whatever I got stuck in. I was like, and I'm sitting there thinking like, what did I get stuck in? Like a hole? Like underneath the vehicle? I was like, I think I was underneath the vehicle. And they're like, but a hole. I'm like, that don't make sense. And then I'm like, I got to figure out what this is. So I was like, I'm going to take a breather. Might be 5 minutes, might be an hour. I was like, got everything off, got me a drink. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I don't know what kind of vehicle this is.
So you still haven't realized?
Yeah, because I couldn't see.
You have just.
And then I'm like,
found.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like at that point, I'm like, no idea. I'm like, hey, let's get the GoPro. So I'm sitting in the Jeep, like just trying to hydrate, relaxing. I'm like, okay. So I get the GoPro, and I'm like remembering what I seen, but not thinking. not trying to think of the colors, but I was like, why is everything orange? So I'm thinking demo derby vehicles, you know, like they paint orange.
Yeah, I got you.
Like that color orange. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm like, this is like a dumb vehicle. And I'm like, I just thinking about the rims, the positioning, and I'm like, it's not a truck. It's not a car. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I was like, it is a van. I was like, that would make sense. But I'm like, how did I end up in the van? And I'm like, no, it ain't. I was like, I don't know, but it ain't a bubbly van. Like, it's not like a Dodge Caravan. And I'm like, because I would have seen that when I'm at the front. I'm like, so I get the GoPro out, and at the same time, I look up his case again. And I'm like, let's go back to the vehicle. And it was like white vehicle, and then the door was blue with white paint. And I'm like, all I'm seeing is orange. And I'm like, and it didn't dawn on me, like the color of my lens.
You still hadn't figured that out.
Yeah. And I'm like, orange. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, game plan. I was like, let's just get the fresh tank, 3,000 pounds. I'm like, definitely diving full face. Like, because apparently that's where I'm at now, is all full face. And I got that ready, still like relaxing. I'm looking at his case. I'm like, let's look up 94 Plymouth, or the Plymouth Voyager. So I look it up, and I'm like, that's not the van I'm looking for at all. So like at this, like that dawns on me.
Oh, so you're still thinking you're
Like a
looking
bubbly
for a
van.
bubbly, rounded kind of
Yeah.
van, and not that
not the
V
V-nose like the Ford
Yeah.
Aerostar. Like,
Okay,
right?
that makes sense. Okay.
And then I'm like thinking the sonar image, and I'm like, the rims. I'm like, the truck. I was like, it's not a truck. And I'm like, it's definitely not a truck. It's like the length looks good to be a truck. And I'm like, but the underside of that, I was like, there was no drive shaft. I'm like, I didn't feel a drive shaft at all. I'm like, no. I was like, this can't be. I'm like, no. So then I get the GoPro, and then because it's at my chest and not here, I'm getting this very close up image, which I didn't know this on GoPros. When you're playing it back and then you put it on the TV, you get the full screen on the TV, but on the GoPro, it's like condensed down. So you don't get the full shot. I did not know that. So I'm sitting there playing it. I got like that aluminum rim in image. I'm like, okay, 5 lug. I'm looking at the Voyager. I'm like, 5 lug. I was like, the centerpiece is weird like that. But then I was like, it had like stillies too. Like I know it had stillies, but I don't have a shot of that because like in those areas, that's where it was all stirred up. Because
And Stilly's is like a factory,
the factory
generic rim
Yeah.
that they come out with. Yeah.
And I was like, so I sent it to 2 friends that are mechanics. That image, like, it's a picture of me, like picture of the GoPro, not the best image.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, can you tell me what this goes on? And then like I'm getting my stuff ready. And then my one buddy's like, I'll tell you what it goes on. Like just who he is. And then before I read the
Goes on these.
yeah,
Yeah.
and before I could
I'm that buddy.
read the message from my one friend, like I'd already started diving again. But then my other buddy was like, bro, I think you found, like, he's like, I think you found him. And I'm like,
Ain't no way.
there's no way. And he's like, is like that? He's like, that's the right era of a rim. Like, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, it's definitely a 90s style vehicle. I was like, all right. And then I started thinking about how we got there. And I was like, if it is, I was like, I'm not in a good place right now. Because like I'm by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really hope
And I feel like signal is crap down there.
it is
I
not
don't-
great.
Yeah.
So like as I'm looking this stuff up, it's like not
Slow,
loading,
yeah.
loading, slow. And I'm like, I really hope that fisherman comes back. Like I was just hoping he'd come back. No, he never come back.
Yeah.
Not for a long time. So I was like, okay, we got all my stuff. And then I set my phone on the I got it clamped to the boat trailer. As I hit record, it's recording the opposite direction. It's just me.
I got you.
That's what happens.
Dude, my
I-
luck is your luck, bud.
But I don't know this until I
Yeah.
get back home. So it's recording the opposite direction. You can hear me talking.
You just can't see me.
They can't see me come up or nothing. So not that it matters. But I got my GoPro on my chest again. Feel 10 times better. So I was like, I'm hands free now. The flashlight's on the full face. The camera's here. 100% hands free. I was like, finally get to the buoy marker again. So it's that long awaited float with no current. Drop down. As I drop down, I'm like, holy crap. Like that's
The aha moment.
a V, like a V. So it's upside down. I'm like, rim. I get to the door. And I'm like, that's a blue door. I'm like, okay. So I go past. I'm like,
That's right, because you changed the
Yeah.
mask.
So
Is
now-
not
plus I
orange
got-
anymore.
I got
and
like full peripherals. I got full everything.
So you're seeing what you seen the first time, totally
Yes,
new again. if you
totally
will.
new. And,
Wow.
and then I'm like, okay, let's see what color this vehicle is. So I go down past the door. I'm like, this is a white. I was like, this is it. Like I was like blue door, white vehicle, and then I go back up a little ways and look at the like the V portion, and I'm like, this is his vehicle. I'm like, okay, let's think about this some more. So then I go to the door, which is completely like covered in sand. So I start to do this, and I'm like, let's not disturb it too much until I get a better visual. So I go down. Here's the tree laying across, big tree laying across. I hop up over the tree, get to that rim, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I get back to the back. I look in, so I'm at the back of the vehicle. The hatch is completely gone. I was like, so I was in a van. I was 100% in a van, and I thought I hopped over here, and I was like, you could see the carpet hanging down, and I'm like, wow. I was like, I need to go in and just see like
Just
what
kinda
what else
clear
I can
it.
find. And I'm like, thought about it. I went in a little bit. I'm like, there's like nothing in here. Like it pretty much empty. And I was like, there's the two tires,
Right.
right? And I'm like, no rims. And I'm like, well, that's what I was feeling. I'm like, okay. So I hop over to the actual side, and this is when you can really see that it's a van. The 94 Plymouth
On the passenger side.
on the
of it.
passenger side, 'cause it's like pretty well open. Well, yeah, technically passenger side, but upside down.
Yeah.
Come up. So like now I'm looking at lift points. I'm like, I can get to all four rims pretty well, except for, well, no, you can get to all four. So I go down the passenger side up to the front. The windows are like completely busted out. I'm like looking in, I don't see anything like as far as like person remains or anything like that. I'm like, don't want to like disturb it too much. I'm like, man, I was already in the back. I'm like, that's not really good, because
Yeah, I've already screwed it up.
yeah, like I wasn't like, it's one thing to get in and then slowly look and
Right.
comb through stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, I already kind of messed that up. So then I go around and I'm like, let's just look. So like at the front, like both rims, there's a tree across there a little bit, which is also weird that none of that showed up on my down imaging. I could kind of see the debris on my side imaging a little bit. You can see like, but it didn't paint a picture of how big the trees were that were in the front and the back. Like pretty, not huge, but good branches, like solid branches. And I was like, you got your the rims, and then trying to think the subframe.
Mhm.
So I was like, that'd be a great hook point. And I'm like, so then it dawns on me like why I'm here, and then how he probably got here. I'm like, yeah, I was like, let's get topside and call 911. So like I get topside, I was like, holy crap. So then like kind of getting a little paranoid, because like I'm
Yeah.
still the only one out here, and I'm like, it's one
There's
thing.
somebody watching me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one thing in my setup. I always like try to hide all the dive gear, because like the way my boat is looks like I'm just another dude.
Out here gonna cast another
Yeah.
zip code 33
Yeah.
or a
Looks like I'm
202.
hunting and fishing type.
Yeah.
Like I got it camoed stuff, like nothing that
Smart.
says dive team, nothing.
Right.
I like to be low key.
Yeah.
But now like all my stuff's out there. I'm
And
diving.
wide open. Yeah.
So like I get back and then I get all my stuff off. And I'm like, man, now I feel like somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
Just paranoia. Get all my stuff off, get to my vehicle. So I Google Uniontown. I'm like, gosh dang it. I'm like Google. So there's not like cell phone signal's not working too
Right.
good. So I get frustrated because I'm trying to Google the number of the sheriff's office. I'm like, all right, screw it. So I dial 911, and I'm like, I guarantee you I get pinged to the Illinois side.
Every time.
So like I can't hear anyway, and I was like, the guy said something, and I was like, is this Union County? And he was like, you need Union County? And I was like, I need Union County in Kentucky. And he was like, stay on the line, I'll get you over there. And I was like, I definitely hit the Illinois side.
Yeah.
And then the dispatcher answers, and I was like trying to like be cool, calm, and respectful. And I was like,
How do you do this?
how do I say this without like
I can't even imagine what's going through your mind, because you just come up on a 20-year-old cold case, and now you found it,
yeah,
and now you've got to relay that
that information.
So
No.
how do you do that?
You try to do it in a very direct way that is believable. I hate to say it like that,
No, I get you.
because if you call in and say too much, then it's like, one, people are already skeptical, right? But you just want to like the most direct information that you can that makes sense to a person that like maybe doesn't know anything about this case.
Yeah.
So like I started off saying something. I don't remember what I said exactly, but I backtracked and was like, I believe I found James Michael Mills' van in the river. That the guy that was reported missing a long time ago. And then she said like, please hold, or something like that. I don't know if she had like a dispatch call or something, but I said I would not put this over there. Like I did not want that to happen.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Scannerland.
Oh man, and this dude.
I was like, please don't put it over there. Like
man,
you're the
got
dispatcher.
Everybody and her brother.
Yeah, I was like, you can do what you want. Like is what I was thinking, but
you got 75 locals strolling up in every volunteer department.
Oh yeah, Scannerland is a real thing, and I'm like, if it was just a dump car, I would not care.
Right.
But like, I know this is his van.
I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, and
it's not a big deal. It's huge.
And then later on, found out some stuff about some other stuff, but I was almost right in my thinking to be paranoid. But yeah. So I said, I don't remember exactly what she said, but I was like, I just want to make sure a sheriff's deputy gets here. Like is present, I'll be cool and calm again.
Right.
Dude, they got there like, I don't know where he was at, but as rural as it is, 5-10 minutes.
Do you remember who the deputy was? Not that it matters.
I don't. I could have swore he's old. He was a little older. I could have swore he just took like. I remember seeing a post on their Facebook that he might have took the position like. I don't want to say recently, but maybe like 6 months ago.
Not long ago, yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
But he was super cool. I had my GoPro here, and I was like, I'm not recording. He'd like,
yeah, he don't care.
He did not care at all,
Yeah.
and I really wasn't recording because I was just like trying to get somebody there.
Yeah.
And then it was the state police jurisdiction and all that. So he came out. Another deputy came out, and then the sheriff came out. State trooper finally showed up. When the state trooper got there, I was really expecting the whole like, you know how like a lot of times when law enforcement shows up, they like
you're done,
push you out of the way.
Yeah,
I was waiting for the like get on out and get type of thing. That never once happened.
That's awesome.
So I remember them saying it's state police's case.
Yeah.
So the trooper showed up, spoke with him, and I don't remember exactly what we said, but I said, "Do you care if I dive it again?" And he said, "Can you pull the vehicle?" And I was like with the rotator? And he was like, "Yeah, can you hook up to it?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I gave him a fist bump, and I don't know who wants what information out there, but he told me some stuff that, family wise and all that. So I dove it again, got like double confirmation, and was like, took my sweet time on checking everything out. And
you didn't have a plate because the back hatch.
Hatch was gone.
Door.
And I even had searched I'm maybe it's underneath, but apparently that hatch is fiberglass, so it could have deteriorated, blown off.
Right.
And I was like,
it's got a big tree up against it, so it could have.
And I was like, maybe I can get the VIN. I never even topside, I could not find a VIN. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if part of the dash was gone or something, but there's VIN markings and stamps everywhere in vehicles.
Yeah. Well, you got it on the door. You've got it on by the window.
Even stamped in certain spots.
Did it seem like it was purposely removed? Or
I
do
don't
you think
know.
it was just? I mean, we're talking 20 years too, right?
The hinges. Let's see, when the van was topside, the hinges were like bent.
Okay,
So like
they were just
it
kind of
probably
unaccessible.
it probably blew open
Okay,
at some point in time, is my guess, just because the hinges were bent. Now, if the hinges were like flush, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
I would think more like deterioration. But also there was 2 tires right on the back, like in the back, sitting there. So I don't know, it's really hard to say.
yeah.
But part of me questioned that too, like, but why would the whole hatch be gone, like on purpose?
Well, and I know, like on a lot of vehicles too, you got the hood, and then the VIN number is usually right there.
Usually. And like if I just couldn't find it, like positioning
Well,
wise,
and again, 20 years,
Yeah,
and it was
a lot of
upside
it was
down,
upside
covered
down.
up.
The driver's side was pretty much intact window wise, but that passenger side that was exposed to the river,
Well, that could have been anything.
front window was blown out. All those other windows on the passenger side were busted out, and I'm sure like fishing boats, trees.
And you know as well as I do, and anybody's familiar with the dike area, when that water's rushing through there off them rocks, it's rowdy, man.
You get like that washing machine effect.
Yeah.
Plus, there's the rocks.
And trying to load a boat, you can't head on your trailer. I mean, it's a whole show to get a boat loaded when it's rolling.
I've been in there where it's
so. At what point?
doing that.
At what point do you don't find remains until it's topside?
Until topside.
Okay.
Which a lot of that I can't even speak on until the state police
clear it,
release their
kind of do the thing.
So there are remains. I do know pretty much it's public information. So state police has the van and the remains, and like I know CSI, if it was CSI, but the lab with the state police, I do know, said do not comb through the van, right? Like don't dig in the van. They want to do that wherever their lab is, which is awesome because it means they're gonna
thoroughly
go through that van,
what they can go through,
which is good. And then they have the remains, and then I know they have to do the attempt to do DNA,
right?
Which 20 years in the water is a very, very long time.
Yeah,
and I don't know enough about DNA remains to even remotely speak on that.
Yeah,
but
and it really depends on what remains is found, and that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
but absolutely do not release any information that may get you in trouble by any means, because that's not what we're about.
Everything that I just said is,
and everything is pretty much what I've read
in the news.
So,
and like, I wasn't even going to release much, but then I got home and the news released a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, and then I even redacted the name, like his name that I was saying in my video, even though the news is added to that, and I'm like, it's not my thing. Like, not until more information is released.
Yeah. So walk us through the process of getting it out.
So, man, getting it out was, I don't want to say, there's like a lot of things. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but
could have went better,
man. Like, so I'm a diver, like I'm a gopher, like I search for people and vehicles. I know, like I gave my input on how and what I thought should have took place, how the van should have been.
Because you've been down there, you've seen it, you know the way it's placed.
So I'll just stick to the facts, I guess. So I verbally said to multiple people, and I know I sound like a broken record, the van is in this position. I said, here's the front of the van, it's upside down. I said, it's kind of on its side, kind of,
but tilt to it.
Yeah, but kind of like this. I was like, the front of the van is facing upriver towards like where we're at the boat ramp. I said, the back hatch is completely gone. I said, the driver's side glass, as far as I can tell, is completely intact. And I said, on the passenger side, it looks blown out. I can't really get to the front of the vehicle. Like, it's covered up. And I said, the good news is what the majority of what seems is covering it is sand and rock. It's not muck like it usually is, which there should be less suction. I was like, you do got like not full trees. I said, we got like a part of a tree across the back, part of a tree across the front. I was like, what really needs to happen is take some kind of like orange construction netting.
to wrap around.
And I said, any opening that I find, cover that up however I can. This is what I would like to happen. I said, or get a rotator.
And you're doing that to preserve what's
Yes,
in
preserve everything that's in there, even though the back hatch is completely gone.
there. Right.
It's open. Like, obviously, there's a lot of stuff missing. But from the time that we find the van, I was like, have it wrapped up as much as, the best we can, how we can. And I said, I said, we can get to all 4 points very easily. I would like to hook up to all 4 points, choke it up as best I can, and then hoist it directly up out of the water is what I would like to do.
So how far off the bank was this? How far off the boat ramp?
Probably 30 foot.
So yeah,
And
easily.
but that's not what happened. I even like kind of jokingly, like, I know Tri-State has a barge. I was like, we ought to get the barge out of here. Like, because and then just hoist it right there. But it's not what happened. I also asked.
And that seems to bother you.
No, it bothers me a lot. I even
what is it?
I even made comments to.
Is it the possibility of losing what's inside?
Yes. So like, I took a land far away. I'm gonna butcher this, but it's really designed for coroners. Took it with the dive team. It's like an aquatics, homicide, and accidental drowning class, and it touches basis on how everything is a crime scene. So even the vehicles we find that aren't linked to a missing person, we're supposed to do it that way. Like, we're supposed to preserve any and every amount of evidence that we possibly can, because it is a crime scene. It's just under the water. So it is our responsibility to preserve as much as what we can, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the easiest task.
Yeah, I could tell that bothers you a lot.
Yeah. It could have went.
And I know you're not a malicious any type of that. I mean,
No.
because you have a lot of respect for a lot of people, Tri-State Towing, and just different player game. The deputies, and it sucks sometimes.
It does, because like it's like
because my way of looking at it is, I'm not going to tell you how to I'm not going to tell you how to dive,
right?
Because I don't know how to do it. You know what I mean?
It's there's like. It's also
and you can't really tell them how to pull a car out, because we do this every day,
right?
But when do you get to the point to where, okay, this is your forte, this is my forte, how can we come together,
right? So like I said all that, but nothing was set in motion.
I got you
on what I said. So I don't know. Part of me is very like laid back, very humble, but then the other side of me that I don't want out
is right there.
Kind of needs to come out sometimes.
Yeah.
But again, I always try to be respectful to everybody, which is like my uncle.
Yeah.
If I could let him come out for 5 minutes, he would say, like, I've been doing this a very long time. I'm the boss. Like, I hate to say it like that, but
yeah. Let's do it this
whatever
way.
he says goes, and if you don't like it, take a hike.
Right.
It's like, if it gets to that, then take a hike, because I'm not going to help you unless it's done right. But in coordination with the sheriff.
And let's be clear, the reason you're that way is because you're wanting to protect what possibly could be in there.
And I'm not taking a shot at anybody.
People get.
I know how people are.
Hopefully,
and it's kind of like,
they know, because I know a lot of those guys that work there. I'm friends with a lot of them.
People take everything to heart.
They do.
And like, you got to remove yourself from that, because I'm not taking shots at anybody. Yeah. Like, it went as smooth as it possibly could, but
things could have went a little different.
It could have went better as far as the preserving the crime scene.
And that's take a fire scene, for example.
Oh yeah.
We go in and we're going to put the wet stuff on the hot stuff. It don't always go that way.
No, it doesn't always go smooth.
So and so, I've been doing this for 50 years. We're going to do it this way, and the dang house burns down, right? And you've got some guy that's been in it 3 or 4 years is like, hey, if we do this, and blah blah blah, and saves the whole house. You know, so it's kind of that point to where you found it.
Yeah.
Right. You've just kind of got to bite it and accept the fact that you found it, and hopefully, if there's anything in there, it's still
Yeah.
in there at the end of the day.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
There's-
and I get it, and I hate that because I know like I said, I know those guys, and I think
they were awesome. Everybody was super awesome.
Yeah.
The sheriff's office, emergency management, the detective, the state police, tri-state towing. Everybody was above and beyond great, and everybody literally, like, I could tell had their heart in it.
yeah,
But
there's just a few things that
Just
you wanted.
when I'm
you felt
talking to
like-
people,
yeah,
like, please listen
Just
to
listen.
the key things I'm saying. And for whatever reason, it didn't get taken into
yeah,
play.
and at this moment,
Like, literally all somebody had to do was say, hey, you were talking about,
wrapping it
I got this stuff for you, or like, elaborate on that, please.
right,
Like,
Just
nothing.
and maybe their adrenaline and emotions are so high because it's been found. 20
So-
years.
People are what's it called? They
It goes to that tunnel vision.
yeah. They also, a lot of people question, like, okay, is
The
it really?
credibility.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
Because they don't know until, even when the car's coming up out of the water, people are skeptical,
Yeah.
which I get,
And I've been there. I mean, I've seen it.
but like, I don't know. There's a certain time, like, when I came back after diving on it for the third time, and I was like, it's him.
Yeah.
I was like, it's him. And then the state trooper was like, he knew that I was being 150%.
Yeah.
Like, when I say, I'm not going to say like it's the vehicle if it's not. Like, if I'm like questioning it, I'm going to tell you, like, I think it's, I'll be like, I think it's 60% or 50-50,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to sit there and put my name on something and say it is.
Yeah.
And then, like, the more people that question you, the more you start questioning yourself.
Right.
So then I'm like, no, I think it's reminding me of the other person that I found.
Yeah.
So, like, as the vehicle's coming out, like, we had to keep shortening the rope. So I literally got on top, looked like this, because the van was on its side at this point. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, door white. Like, this is the van. And then once it roll over, then everybody starts believing you, like 150% that it's the van.
So before we even get to the point to where the remains are seen,
Yeah.
how do you feel when that van rolls
No,
over?
I feel
onto
sick.
four
I
wheels?
literally feel sick. Like towards the end of my video, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like part of me is like, okay, it's the van, but like, we have human
Where do we
remains.
go? Yeah.
But like, just playing back in your head everything that just happened and thinking about portions, just the whole thing from the distance that it came. Not to say that like there was any more or less in that van, right?
Right. Right.
But I did say, like, hey, the 2 tires that were in the van are no longer in there.
So something.
So things
obviously
came
is
out of the van.
Something. Yeah. And you're not even. You don't even know what.
Don't even know
what
what.
Obviously, 2 tires.
Yeah.
We know that.
And I know I found 1 tire searching the boat ramp after the fact, but yeah, just
So you find how and who finds the remains first? You see them.
Yeah.
How does that go? What does that feel like?
so I won't say exactly.
Yeah, don't do that. Just I want to know your feelings. I want to know because we'll let the audience decide what they think you've seen, right? The
Yeah.
part wise.
So
I want to know your feelings, your thoughts at that moment. Because Trey, this is a 20-year-old case
yeah, there's a lot of time.
that had no answers.
It was just
Has
Everybody
went
had the-
completely cold.
rumors, lots of rumors.
Right. And you just busted it wide open.
Like I said, there's a moment of peace that no one has to look anymore. The family doesn't have to wonder. Like, we still don't know 100% if the remains are him
Obviously,
or not, right?
right.
But like, odds are, like, if you were guessing, I'm not an expert, but the odds of it, whether they're saying it is or not, but the odds of it being his van, which it is his van, I'll take that to wherever.
Yeah.
And then there are human remains in it. Who else would it be? Who else
Right.
could it be?
Jimmy Hoffa.
Exactly. Right. Now, whether the DNA proves or is enough or doesn't prove that, or like, I know what I feel and know that it is him. Right. Like, it
Right.
doesn't take rocket science unless he's out there living his best life and somebody
Venezuela
staged this or
somewhere
something. Right.
Yeah.
Like, think simple, think basic, and you'll have your answer. And that's how I ended up finding his van. Is the most simple, basic way. Because sometimes I think we all think too much.
Overthink.
Yeah, and we make it as something it's not. So, but I will say, finding remains, and then the moment that I felt remains, it was just like the most sick, like just a sickening feeling.
Yeah.
Because like you're holding what part of someone's life, like who they were, that is no longer here. Literally, whenever I was a little kid, this is when it happened, 2006.
Yeah.
And they were here the entire time. This area had been searched apparently multiple times by a lot of different people. Now, I will say sonar has come a long way, but then I was told like 2 years ago that area had been searched. Well, which means they got, like, my sonar's, that sonar that I have is 2 to 3 years old. It's just, I don't have live scope, but it's.
Was it searched by professionals, or do we know who? Don't say names.
I don't know.
Like,
Like, I do know.
somebody searched.
I do know, but somebody has searched.
Right.
And like, as far as I could tell, no one had searched, but
Somebody searched.
somebody had searched. Like, I was told by multiple different people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing that came out, certain people live close to that boat ramp. Like, multiple different people from different aspects of his association lived close to that boat ramp. So both sides, right? Good. Just people.
Mhm.
I didn't know any of that. Like, I didn't know that's how close certain people lived.
Right.
Or else, like, when you're looking for a place to start, and we didn't have a place to start other than Uniontown, bodies of water, boat ramps. Like, when the sheriff, like, literally the sheriff told me that, and one of the state troopers told me how close multiple people lived, I literally said, that's the information that you would, like, hope to have, but somehow didn't. I said, because if I'd have known that coming out here, like, I wouldn't have had. I always try to make things fun. Like, don't be all, you know what I mean?
No, I guess you. I'm the
doom and
same way.
gloom. Like, you got to.
So, I mean,
You gotta make it
people
fun,
that
yeah.
know me know, and you probably noticed that when I get anxious or
Yeah.
I'll start making jokes, or
Yeah.
I'll start, So I get you.
Like, you got to keep your morale,
Yeah.
whoever's with you's morale up, and it isn't anything until it is. So, like, up into the point to even when you do find a vehicle, you're just a dude on a boat running sonar. When you find a vehicle, okay, it's a vehicle, but it's nothing until it is.
Right.
So you try to be the most positive mindset that you can, so you don't think too much into it. But whenever I found that information out, at that point, like, if I'd have known that, it really wouldn't have been like fun and games.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it would have been combing that entire river all the way down if I wouldn't have found something close. Every roadway that touches that water, I would have scanned as tight niche, like daytime record.
Oh, you would have had that sucker blocked off
yeah.
in inch
And
squares.
I would have had anybody and everybody out there with sonar helping, like, one way or another. Like, if I would have scanned it like that and not found anything, I'd have been like,
I feel like, and do not let me put words in your mouth.
you're
I
good.
feel like you don't think this is an accident.
I don't think it's an accident. Like, they're like, in personally, don't think it was an accident. Like, especially growing up in the area, right? Like,
Yeah.
for the one, Uniontown river rats.
Yeah.
My grandma used to make a cake for our birthdays. It was like the forgot what she called it. It was a chocolate, like, mud, a chocolate cake that I'm trying to think something anyway that was based off the river.
Okay.
So, like, the majority of everyone that, I don't say everyone, like you said, don't put words in people's mouths,
Right.
but we grew up in the water, on the water,
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, them 822, man, they're prideful.
Oh yeah,
They're proud of where they're from, you know,
absolutely.
and they're some of the first to step up when people, you know, Uniontown now seems like it doesn't have the best reputation
It
for whatever reason, right?
yeah.
But go mess around down there,
Oh,
you know. And I'll quote Jason Dean or Aldean in a heartbeat. Try that in a small
you wouldn't
town.
want to do that in that
No,
town.
like you're ignorant.
I will say, like a couple, yeah, probably 3 or 4 years ago, whenever I came back, I was doing some video and stuff. I was at the main boat ramp. I was talking to an older gentleman. I don't remember his name, but the sheriff drove by. And as the sheriff drove by, the gentleman stopped what he was saying to me, and he was like, "That's right. Keep driving. We don't need you. We have something go." He's like, "We have something happen. We'll take care of our own selves." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Nothing's changed." I was like,
Same old
"Nothing's
same.
changed."
Yeah.
But like everybody is, it's a tight community.
So, state police takes a van.
Yeah.
Who talks to the family first? Do you talk to them? Does
I believe
how does this play out?
so. Not 100%, but I believe the state trooper talked to the family first, if not with the sheriff at the same time. Vice versa. It was either the sheriff or the state trooper, but I was still down by the river, kind of like searching through everything. But I believe it was the sheriff or the state trooper. One of the two. One of the two. Is who informed the family. So
How did that? Do you know
how that went?
How that went? And let me tell you the funniest thing, and you can check my search history. And about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, actually, I just did a update with the mother of Heather Teague that's been missing for 30 years. And as soon as I ended that interview, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at James Michael Mills
And just see if you
and
get
I want to see what I can figure out or who I can talk to. And I had, it was the whole focus that I was getting was it's in the water, it's in the water, it's in the water, because people are like, he ran off, and I'm like, the
Not in
stories
that
that I've
vein.
heard about him, and I'd only met him maybe once or twice, 3 times. Coming out of Walmart or past him in a convenience store or something, and he was always friendly. Every time I seen him, he was always talking to somebody. He was laughing, right? So I was like, who can I talk to? Who do I need to talk to? And I started doing all my research. A People Finder. I paid for that service to kind of do some background digging on some people, and then I was like, oh crap, I know who I need to get a hold of. And we have another gentleman that we kind of used to work with.
Yeah.
And we cut ties with him. And I'm like, I need to get a hold. How do I get a hold of Trey?
Right.
So I'm looking through my phone, not thinking that I've changed phones and my contacts. The contact I had you in was a work phone.
Oh,
and so I'm like, man, how do I get a hold of him? And for some reason, I could not find your Facebook stuff. I don't know why. I don't know if I was spelling it different or what. And I'll show you. And then all of a sudden,
did it pop up? I might have.
It was boom.
I may have had you blocked.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Maybe not. I know I blocked like a bunch.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that's got me blocked, and I'm okay with that. You kind of
no.
I don't think so, because we never had any kind of we worked really well together.
I unblocked a bunch of people, but I don't think.
And I never looked for Nark Divers. I was trying to search your name.
Yeah, my name on Facebook, and then
and I'm sure I'll look, but I'm sure I was spelling it wrong or whatever. And then it popped up.
Even if you did, I'm the world's worst person to get a hold of.
Yeah,
because
you don't like to answer your phone very much.
No,
so I even know that from before.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'll text you, and 3 days later,
get a reply.
Like, hey man, what's up? That's good. That's okay.
It's good and bad. It's like I've had people like some weird messages that go to other. Yeah. And then it's like I don't even read them.
Right. Yeah. No, I got you.
Because people are weird. Like can be weird.
Yeah. But so anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna do this like an update story on them and see if we can't get something fired up. And then I was settings. I don't know if I was at work or at home. I was like, holy crap. Yeah. He did it. Like he did it.
It still really hasn't sunk in.
I mean, even maybe even for locals or the family, it hasn't sunk in. But this is 19 years exactly, I guess. 20-year cold case
It'll come up in January, something like it'll be
Yeah.
20 years.
that has had no leads, not a lot of action.
That's what got me, like, when we finally like kind of got.
I mean,
got
I
done.
don't think you realize what you done, have accomplished, what you have given to the Mills family.
I actually got to meet his family.
How was that?
I didn't want I didn't want to meet him, to be honest. I hate to say it like that, but
Why is that?
there's like certain fit like. So back up real quick. My uncle always said, like, I used to ask him, like, we'd be eating dinner and then go to a fire call with fatality.
I gotcha.
Things be all over the roadway,
Yeah.
right? Like
Right.
we've seen a lot. And I asked him one time, I was like, Uncle Payne, I was like, how have you done what you've done like all these years? And he said, well, it's quite simple. And he's like, I got a job to do. He's like, regardless of what happens, it's not my fault it happened. It's also not my feelings to feel. He said, I'm there to hold my stuff together,
Right.
keep my stuff together. I have a mission and a job, and I got a crew to take care of. He said that's what I am there for, and obviously the human life and the value of that.
Right.
And he's like, no more, no less. He said, when I'm not at that fire department or I'm not on a call, I don't think about it. He's like, I live my life. He's like, is there sadness to it? Absolutely.
Right.
He said, am I going to think about some stuff? Absolutely. But there's just certain feelings that truly are not mine to carry or anyone else's except for the family. And I think that's kind of like keeps it more clear.
Yeah.
So that's why I try not to get close to too many people.
I understand. That makes sense.
But
Makes sense.
this is kind of like an inside thing. But as I was leaving, the actual sheriff had the road and everything blocked off. And like we get those feelings, like those like more than a deep feeling, just
Yeah.
whether it's God, energy,
Right.
subconscious, whatever it is. He just rolled the window down, shook my hand. He said, you want to thank me for what I did? And I was like, thank you for being respectful and
Oh, I love our sheriff.
a great sheriff. Like I
love him.
being a good person, right? And he was like, he said he went down and talked to the family and they know. And he's like, if you would, he's like, would you go down there and talk to him for me? And I said, I looked at him like, and I said, no. He didn't ask why not. He just said, I, respect that. And he's like, maybe from this short trip, you'll have a change of heart. And I'm like, when he said that, I'm like, mother trucker. Like, I guess I'm going to speak to him.
Yeah.
And then me being me, like I get to where I'm going and then I have to turn around because like I got lost. I got lost.
You got lost.
Like, because I'm thinking about it, right? Like,
right.
and I'm like, it's right there. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. I'm rolling up and they're all outside. I'm like, so then I park way off. And then like, as I'm like getting out, then like, I see a thing that says like their name on it. And I'm like, it is like, I'm at the right spot.
Yeah.
Like, why would there be that many people out, right? Like, because they already got the news. So I walked up and first thing I said, I was like, the sheriff told me to stop on by. Cause I know like some people can be
just roll
like, cause sometimes like,
yeah, no, I get it.
you don't want to be disrespectful. And, man, talk about, I only met him for maybe like 5 minutes, but you can just tell when people are good and genuine people, right? Like, I don't know, not always, but
no, 100%.
This discernment, like he had like the most beautiful family that like, I think a lot of people, we all get all caught up in like titles, names, money, and where we're going and what we're doing, what we're going to be, right? But I will say he had a beautiful family, and there's not one person there that I'll take that to wherever I got to go that would have caused any harm to him. Like just beautiful people, good souls. And I don't know, I just couldn't think of anything to say. I just explained to them how I found the van and how we don't know if it is or isn't him until the state police do the thing.
Right.
but I wish more families were like his family,
Yeah.
because like they stuck together like this entire time, even probably already thinking of knowing certain answers. And they even said like, if there was a place that he could have been, it would have been there. And they didn't understand why, like just now, like why he was just now found, like his van was found.
You know, I believe everything happens for a reason. We may not know the reason, and I
Right.
just said this the other day. We might not like the reason, but everything happens for a reason. He was there for a reason. You were sent there for a reason. You found him for a reason, right?
Yeah.
In all God's timing. As crazy as that sounds.
My mom always says the truth will come out through all darkness or something like that,
Yeah.
which at the time, like being the way I am, was like hard to believe. But the older I get, the more I see, the more sometimes if you just, I don't want to say go with the flow, but follow the energy,
Yeah.
like,
Kind of take you somewhere on it.
it makes sense. Like it makes more sense to do it that way than to try so hard. I don't know.
Well, that energy that you felt that day has taken you to where we are right now.
Yeah.
You single-handedly closed a missing person closed case, more than likely, right?
More than likely.
Obviously, we're still waiting on the definite,
Yeah, the state police to
but
do their thing.
let's kind of just cut through the slime.
Yeah, if you cut through all the
bull crap,
our formalities,
yeah,
the
come
odds
on.
of it not being him, like, there's no way that it's not him, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you're a hero to that family. You know, they've asked for closure. They just had a vigil
That's
not long ago, right? And you know, that's what they want. They just wanted him home.
just
Trey, you did
know
that
something.
for 20, 19, 20 years.
been a long time.
Yes.
Like I'm 33, so
And it couldn't have happened better, if you will, to a local Uniontown,
yeah.
bred and raised.
Uniontown, River Rats. It's just weird how, like you said, like timing too.
Yeah.
Like I got a brother that lives in town. I got a brother that passed away a couple years ago, but like I don't talk. Like I'm just bad about talking to people.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if I stopped by, he'd
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
like, you been to town how many times and haven't stopped?
Right. Yeah.
But just different. I feel like as simple as that is, I always got like time when we don't have time.
Yeah. No,
like-
and I get it. We're all bad about
I'm the world's worst person.
making time for
Yeah.
things, you know. I actually got a message on my phone that I've got a guest coming up that says we're all bad about being friends to friends and not making time for things. And I'm really looking forward to that interview. Man, like how I just, it's amazing. Like when I seen it, I was just like, oh my God, they found him, right? And he was right there this
No.
whole time. And then once I seen who had found him, I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
Yes, it's you. You know, it was you. And I was like, dude.
And like this, it's always hot. Like
And I don't want to sit here and gloat and be like, I'm so happy, but I'm so happy that they found him and
comes
that
a
you were
time-
the ones that found him.
Yeah.
You know, you found him.
there comes a time where it's like, okay, enough time has passed to where it doesn't make sense for this person to be gone. So we can't change what happened,
Absolutely.
but it's time to put in the work to figure out where he's not.
Well, I want you to, and for the lack of better terminology, to celebrate what you've done, because I want you to be, I know you're proud. I know you, and I want you to be able to enjoy that moment, as gruesome and grim as it is. And I might not get along with all of the local leaders, but I'm proud that we have the ones that in that time forget stuff and they do what they got to do. You know, Union County is really good about that, whether I like it or not, right? we're blessed to have those people that can put their differences aside. Not that there was any on
No,
that
that's what
day, but coming from my standpoint, I am so happy and proud to be a part of Union County and have those people to show up when they need to show up.
it's a
So,
beautiful community.
yeah,
But I was like, from your perspective, I get it
yeah,
because I don't know. I think not to put words in your mouth, but I've had some positions that shouldn't have been political
yeah,
myself, to where you're doing a lot of work, and it's not that you want credit or an attaboy, but when certain things keep transpiring and then you see other people get up the ladder, like I've put in some last minute resignations, but like, so like you're the, yeah.
Well, I'm hanging in there like a hair in a
I'm-
biscuit tray, and I'm loving it. You know what I mean? And I'm super stoked, and I'm proud and honored to be a part of knowing you. You know, like I said, 3, 4 years
It's
ago,
been a
or
while.
whatever it was, we worked together a little bit. And
When I came down here, I was like, just like your background, I was like, if I find anything, I'm gonna call Rick and just be like, hey, this is what I got.
yeah,
But then like I started thinking of it's kind of like spiraling,
right, yeah.
and then the feelings that I was having, I'm like, I really just want to have law enforcement here, like now.
No, 100%. That's
So-
and that was the smartest thing. And I'll be honest with you, if you would have called me, I'd have been like, you need to call Jason,
Yeah,
which is our, Jason Thomas, our sheriff, and let them guys handle it, because I don't do a lot in that field anymore. I just kind of stay to myself, and I got this. This has been so good for
there's
me.
I don't know, there's like a peacefulness to being able to, I don't want to say step away, but like,
Yeah,
I'm sure if you hear sirens or like see lights and stuff, it probably like brings you back into certain.
it does.
Yeah,
My adrenaline gets going, and
You
my
wanna,
blood
like,
gets pumping.
you want to
but,
be there and help and do your thing.
I'll let
but
them do that.
That's
I'm here if I'm ever needed.
yeah.
But I'll let them do that. I'm
You always have
loving
that
where I'm
calling
at.
though, like
Yeah,
to serve
and yeah.
others.
I mean, I'm still on a volunteer department here. The chief of a volunteer department down here. I'm actually stepping away. I'll make that public now. I'm stepping
Oh.
away after about a year being chief. My heart's not in it,
I understand that.
and I don't want to be a part of something that my heart's not in. I want somebody that lives, breathes, and dies.
the part of you that
that
used to do.
I want to
that type.
volunteer. I just want to show up to help. You
Right.
know what I mean? I don't want that. And I'm really wanting to grow this podcast to turn it into something. So
It takes a lot of
it does. It's hard, dude.
dedication and time.
It's tough, man.
It's not easy.
Growing subscribers on YouTube is tough.
Oh man,
It takes forever.
So
I've
you
been
almost.
doing this a few months, and we're getting there. But
I've been not at YouTube for a minute. When I can, I'm gonna just do something simple on my
Yeah.
channel. I'll make sure to
do
put
a
you
little
out there,
something.
because that's what it like with YouTube. It shouldn't be that way, but
Right.
I feel like either one, traction with certain events that are happening
100%.
can help, not
100%.
always,
Right.
but if you have a YouTuber that has more followers,
They're gonna trickle over.
for whatever
That's fine.
reason, people
Hey,
will,
and I'm gonna tell you right now, man. If you got a story to tell, I tell everybody this is a judgment-free zone. I don't
feels-
care.
so being here, it feels good. It doesn't feel like I'm on a podcast, and most people try to push and pry,
Yeah.
but you've done a great job at like maintaining, like keeping the storyline, because like I'm bad about going back 20 years.
Right.
and
It's man. We can stop recording and we can ramble all day
Yeah.
long. I'm the same way.
I'm
I
bad
have to
about
really
that. And
focus,
people will say
and
like,
enunciate, and watch that. I like to say the F word a lot.
I'm bad
so
about it.
you have no idea how hard it is for me not to drop the F bomb sometimes, right? But that means a lot to me, and I really appreciate that, because I really want this to turn into something positive.
You're good about reeling it back to what we're on, instead of getting too far
Yeah.
out in a good way though.
Well, I know we've been at it for a little bit, and I know the family is just in awe and just beyond themselves. And I don't want to say, I guess they are happy to
Oh.
have some kind of closure.
It was a weird feel, like I'm not great with words, and I don't
No,
try to act like I am. I just explained to him how I found the van, where I'm from, you know, how I came to search there, and how it's everywhere that we had searched before. And they're, you can just kind of tell sometimes someone like shell shock. I said, I hope you all have a better day for what it is.
Right.
Which and then I'm like, why did I say that? Like, you're not gonna have a better day, but also
And
closure in a sense.
It makes sense. Yeah.
So
Well,
they're beautiful people inside and out, and
well, you're
Great
100% their
family.
hero. I mean, you did something that hasn't been able to be done for 19 years, and I know our community's grateful, and I know that family's grateful. I'm personally grateful for it. And I'm sorry that it took this to get us back connected again,
I know.
but I think I'll try to do better to
No, you're
stay in
good.
touch. You know, I know how it is.
I'm the best worst friend.
Same here.
I got 2 friends that like I just ghosted for 4 months.
Yeah,
And-
and it happens.
and luckily they take me back.
So your social media, you got Nark Divers,
Nark Divers on YouTube, and then just Trey Lombardo on
Trey
Facebook.
Lombardo. Yeah, I don't know what the heck I was searching. I'll have to look and see because you probably laugh at me. Probably like Trey Lamborghini or some shit. But yeah. So Nark Divers, and you've got several videos up on YouTube,
Okay.
some older ones or whatever. But it's still, and because I went back and I was even watching some of
Trying to
them
get-
because I was just like, man, yeah,
Yeah, I wish I had.
just kind of.
I don't put YouTube in mind. It's more like I'm just recording for myself
Yeah,
in a
it's
sense.
just kind of documentation.
But
Yeah, it's good enough. So I always end the podcast with my buddy Shannon French, who started Liz for Kids. It's a nonprofit organization that the Panama City firefighters sign a helmet, make them honorary firefighter. But all of his little videos he does, he always says, "Be kind to each other.
Yep.
You know, be kind to one another." And I think we need it this past week more than anything. Is that kindness to be shown throughout everywhere, not just with what you've kind of closed, chapter that you've closed for a family, but everything else that's going on in the world. I think we really need to, in the next few weeks and months and moving forward, is to extend that kindness a little further out. So, with that being said, this was an exclusive interview with Trey
Trey
Lombardo.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah,
You're good.
on the James Michael Mills case. Hopefully, in the next few days, weeks, however long it takes, it's officially
It'll
closed.
probably be a while.
It probably will be,
But
at least hopefully we get that 100%
Yeah,
confirmation soon.
the stamp from the state police.
That's what we're looking for. So be kind to one another, and until next time, thank you guys.
Thank you for having me.
Respect.